What? No pudding?
No, only custard.
That snappy line of dialogue is from the movie we're focusing on today called Peter Jackson's Braindead.
Oh my goodness. The growth is staggering, people. We can all make it as artists, I'm telling you.
The growth.
Yes. The growth,
One of
the
the
rot.
goriest movies ever made.
One of the goriest, yes.
I legit thought that I wonder if there has to be a record broken with the amount of blood used, right? Like fake blood.
It was like 7.8 gallons or something like that.
No, no, no.
It's
What
probably
I
more than
what I
that.
read
I
was
don't. I'm not good.
79.2 gallons.
That's what it was. I was like, I remember 7 was in there, but I didn't remember if it was a bigger number. Uh, yeah, lots of blood, lots of corn syrup, uh,
Lots
lots of
of
sweat,
pus.
lots of pus. Start this off with the normal intro of going off everybody and socials. Would you like to start with
All right.
socials first or the introductions?
Oh, well, we'll do our intros. Hello, everybody. I'm a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson Maroon.
I'm a character called Sinister Boy, and I
And
am hosting.
oh shoot! And I'm Sprinks. I didn't know there was
Spring
more tad of
socials.
it. Yes, sorry, I didn't know there was more tad of it to that.
I just did that. You're good.
Socials. We are at Cheap Seat Critics on Instagram and TikTok. But if you remove that S and C, this is the first pod where we're covering this. The S and C, and add an X, so Cheap Seat Critics. Like that. That's the Twitter. The Twitter handle's
Yes.
changed now. So we're also Cheap Seat Critics podcast on Facebook and youtube.com/at Cheap Seat Critics for the slideshow we do and the PNG tubers if you'd like to give us a watch on there. And we also have a letterbox if you're interested in that as well.
All right. Thank you very much. And set the scene a little bit. It is 1991, 92. Got to count a little bit for time it takes to
Film.
actually make a movie.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson is a New Zealand filmmaker. He has not yet made his magnum opus, Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies. Um,
Ah! Oh, he also didn't
but
make King Kong yet either. So
no, uh, but he has made two very very gory splatter films, as I believe they were called, Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles, and he is now working on and makes his third and probably most gory film, Braindead, also known as Dead Alive in the U.S., but for sake of purposes, Peter Jackson's Braindead. Give a little bit of history for me, and I guess everybody else's, but I think everybody else's is about the same. Uh, so I'll start. Uh, I saw an ad for this movie and a DVD intro. I don't remember which DVD it was, but I'm gonna hazard a guess that it was probably one of the Evil Deads or some horror movie. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's it. That looks interesting." I had no idea it was Peter Jackson. I think I was looking up Peter Jackson's early filmography at some point in a video and found out that he did horror films, which was very surprising. And saw that this was on there, and I connected the two things, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I should probably check that out at some point." Uh, Watched it a few years ago, and really, really enjoyed it. It's definitely disgusting. It's definitely gross, but I love it. It's a good campy style of filmmaking that I like. Uh, and decided we should cover it on the podcast, and decided to make everybody else just sick. Uh, so our any ill enjoyment that we had is now your ill enjoyment. So you're welcome.
on
Uh,
that note, I think
yes.
I can handle gore pretty well, but I think this is the only time that gore has made me uncomfortable. Uh,
Not
this is
men.
it's not common. So I guess the movie does its job, I suppose, in that
Yeah.
regard.
Anybody have any special history with, or you want to cover, or is everybody kind of in the same boat?
Well, I've at least
Yeah, I have never heard of it before
Okay.
this.
I
Springs,
have
yeah.
at least heard of it.
Okay.
I knew it was under Peter Jackson's belt, but I knew nothing of it. So I knew the
Uh,
name and that
yeah.
something he's made, but I didn't know it was a zombie flick.
It's
Yeah, I was not expecting zombies on it.
interesting.
Looking at
What were
the
you expecting?
poster, I looked at the poster. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be some like slasher film. I wasn't expecting a zombie
Okay,
film.
interesting. Um, yes. So it's definitely heavily indebted to Evil Dead franchise, which is why I'm
Lots of
assuming that was
references.
yeah. And interesting. I think there's some in here that are then referenced in Ash versus Evil Dead somewhat. I'm not going to say which because everybody here has not seen all of it, like me and Crimson have. But I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Crimson, yeah.
I
Uh,
think so.
so so some influencing other people. Uh, Do we have any facts for this? I have a few, but I want to let everybody else kind of have their shot. I think
Uh, I'm afraid
Springs
I
did.
don't.
Springs, I think you did some
I
research.
did a little research. This movie won a lot of awards, which
Go
surprised me.
on.
Oh shoot, I didn't write them down. I'm not the host of
I
this one, so I
know.
didn't write down facts. But it won
I
like
know one of them was Fangoria. Won a bunch of like horror magazine awards and stuff, special effects and whatnot.
yeah, it won best director, best um dramatic actor, best um was it costume design, I think. I don't know. There's like one
Yeah,
award
there's
ceremony in 1994 where it won 5 awards.
yeah, because
Mm.
Fangoria used to be a really big thing uh, before the internet. Yeah. So, and then we also said the about 79.2 gallons of fake blood were
Yeah.
used. Um, all there's a few. They're not really super apparent because I think they're done pretty well for the most part. Couple of stop motion little scenes and vignettes in this, and apparently, I believe all, if not most, were directed and created by Peter Jackson. I I don't think they credited anybody on that, but if they did, apologies.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
the rat monkey was,
the rat monkey,
was
I
on
believe,
this
and I
scene.
think Vera's giant is a superimposed little miniature for some of it, but not all of it, obviously.
Mhm.
Um,
I have a question. How
yes,
many of
another answer.
Peter Jackson's films have extended versions?
Uh,
Well, all of the Lord of the Rings, right?
yeah,
All the Lord of the
Of Lord-
Rings, all the Hobbits.
King Kong.
In a vein,
King-
Braindead. Um,
well,
True.
that's because they had to edit it
yeah,
for, I'm sure,
King Kong. Yeah,
Eastern market. Yeah.
it just seems like a lot of his films have this longer version.
Yeah, I don't know. I think his other two might also like the Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles might as well, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't think those were ever given a wide release. I think those were just strictly New Zealand films at the time, anyway. So I don't know about the cuts. Um, but yeah, yeah. Um,
I just
Most
didn't know if it was a style of his.
yeah, uh, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it a style because there's always director's cuts. There's always like their version of it versus like the thing, but it does seem a lot of his do have it. So I maybe he just likes shooting too much.
Maybe. I mean, I encourage for the generally I encourage directors to continue and fulfill their vision, even if their vision is ends up being worse than the theatrical release, because that happens occasionally. But I still would prefer that directors have that freedom. You know.
Yeah. Final Cut is definitely a disappearing thing in the cinema landscape for a director to have. That is, it's still a very good editing software. Uh, all right, so we're going with a 5 act structure, popcorning around as we do. I'll list them off right now. This was kind of a little bit difficult to get into 5 acts because it kind of stuff flows into each other because it's sort of gaggy,
Mhm.
uh, pun intended. Um, so first act, Skull Island into Lionel's mom is infected, uh, when she actually becomes a pretty apparent zombie is what we're going with on there. Then it's Lionel's mom infected into the funeral scene. Funeral scene into what I'm referring to as Baby's Day Out. Baby's Day Out into the party brawl, which is hopefully self-explanatory for anybody else who'd seen it, but to specify, it's when the zombies go and cause hell. And from that into the end of the film.
Good deal.
All right.
So without further ado, let us begin where we begin on the Skull Island. So already he was poised to make King Kong.
Yeah. Also, no Skeletor, so I was a little disappointed, but
Um,
neither nor
can't
there.
can't can't win them all.
I
Yeah,
wrote
I
down
know.
in my notes, seeing this, I went, "Where's Colin?"
He's in the cage.
I mean, we got to see his son, right? That was
Yeah,
the rat
the
monkey.
big monkey.
I guess
Uh,
also the
yeah.
the beginning of this Braindead version we watched, the British televised broadcast system,
Yes,
I
that was
guess.
on the original version I watched.
Okay. I didn't know if that's
Yeah,
something that should be credited in for this or no.
I mean it is it. Yeah, that's how. I mean, even into the '90s in New Zealand, they were still doing that stuff because it was a principality.
Okay. I said British.
Um,
Hopefully it's the Brit. Is it the British?
well, New Zealand is it's a
Under the British
principality.
flag.
Yeah, it's a principality,
Yeah.
right? It's
Well,
not
I
a.
mean, look, default, everyone was a British colony at some point, right?
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Uh, so yeah, it's it's still a New Zealand film, but it's. I'm sure the distribution was British, which is amazing because they also outlawed Evil Dead. So this seems very confusing.
First time hearing
Anyways,
about that, but I'm not surprised.
uh, yes. So Skull Island. Uh, does anybody have anything to say about this before we go in? I have a lot to say, but I'm gonna be more passive so everybody else gets a turn, and because I want to see what you guys thought of this.
I thought it was funny when he pulled out I got a permit when he was talking
Damn it!
uh to the
Natives.
yeah, and I
Which
it was that would just amuse me, and also like the gun and machete just appear out of nowhere, more or less.
He had it in his bag.
And there was I think that was the first clue of what I was in for in terms of continuity.
Oh,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say not the acting. I think the acting gave away what type of movie this was.
Look, I'm
Hey,
a little slower on the uptake when it comes to acting, just a little bit, unless they're really really bad. But I eventually the acting was cool enough for me as well.
I think the guy hammed it up well. I think this movie knew what it was.
I think what told me what kind of movie this was the camera angles.
Of the Dutch.
There was so many camera angles in the span of like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
There was a waist torso point of view. There was a large zoom out. There were close-ups, extreme close-ups, Dutch angles.
Hey, he learned from the best. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Uh, yeah, this is a very. It's definitely one of those things where it sets up exactly what it's going to be throughout, and I think I love it for that. It'd be kind of weird if the tone wasn't quite on from the beginning for this one. Uh, I think the native stuff wouldn't fly today. I'm gonna hazard a guess on that one. I think that might be a little bit strong, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, it probably definitely
Is it?
wouldn't fly today, but I think it's still fitting.
It's a little. I don't know. I don't know. I might be just overthinking.
I don't think they did anything out there stereotypically. I guess
It was very close to King
they were
Kong.
just defending their area.
Yeah, it's true. Well, the monkey. I don't know about the area. Maybe both. We'll go with
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's also true. Release it and leave, or the
or
very
we kill.
descriptive death you'd have. Yeah.
He's a New Zealand zoo official who has a machine gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got an Australian accent, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Look, if you're in Australia, you are authorized to use machine guns on animals and people as you see fit.
That's
True.
something. Yeah,
That is a lie.
that's a little thing I want to touch on. What's the Animal Cruelty Act of, if any, for New Zealand film in 1992? Because I feel like there's a lot of animal cruelty that cannot be done today.
Oh, you mean like
Eating a
shown or
dog? What do
Yeah,
you mean?
like eating a dog, ripping the arm off a monkey. Like just
Okay. Well, the Cruelty Act stuff is towards living animals. If that's what, there's nothing wrong against depicting them in films. That's what
well,
you're saying. Other than how it
there's
makes you
some
feel as an individual, I
morally
suppose.
wrong, but
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that's a
okay. Like they didn't
Nothing legally wrong with
actually
that.
take off. Yeah, I just didn't know if there was something said of the time period of the film being made, if there's rules set on that, because I believe there are
uh,
rules set in place of what can be depicted.
Oh,
But
wasn't it like Cannibal Holocaust? They killed like turtles in that or something.
yeah, that was a yeah,
Yeah.
kind of a permanent black mark on that one.
or what's that famous documentary of the lemmings?
That was Walt Disney,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
That was a Disney one.
I,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoved him off a cliff. Terrible. But
Oh, it's
yeah,
supposed to go.
yeah. It's not great to kill animals on screen. Well, real ones.
Yeah,
I don't think they do that really anymore. So good on them.
no, yeah. But as far as just saying, yeah,
We have protections for that.
yeah, morally questionable. Legally, I don't think that there's any legal stance on this movie because I don't think there was actually any bodily
There's
harm.
no animal abuse on here
Yeah,
to real animals,
but
unless you count just caging monkeys. But that's a zoo for you.
that's a gray area. We're not going to go into that. This is a movie podcast.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. Did you like the guys playing like I think it was cricket on the beach while they were waiting for the?
that's what they were doing.
I think it was
Oh,
cricket.
No, that was funny to me.
They're playing some
Um,
game. I don't know if it was cricket, but they were playing something.
I like that somehow the other guy just fell like 50 feet behind when he was not that far behind.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's crazy that they're
I'm
like, we got to get out of here. We got to go. Let's drive at 2 miles per hour.
honestly I'm surprised that when he fell, there wasn't like a gore usage of like his teeth just getting knocked out or something, or like having a big,
They're restraining themselves for later.
I
Yeah,
guess I
yeah.
guess that's
I was like,
true. They
yeah.
had to,
Going into this, you have no idea what's going to happen.
No,
no, unless you watch the
I was
trailer.
certainly surprised.
Oh, good.
Not pleasantly, but certainly.
I'll take it. Uh, yeah. So
Well,
we got.
something I do like about this
Go
little
on.
starter is just the location itself.
It is
I
a good
really,
location.
I don't know where this specific location is, but I like it.
It's
I
Skull
like
It's
the
Island.
very
It
it's very
tells you.
distinct.
yeah, yes, yeah, it's
Da-da-da-da.
cool.
It's got a very distinct look. It kind of reminds me of that. Oh, this is going to be an offshoot. We all saw Willow for the podcast. So, do you remember that place where Sorsha escapes to, or when she's on the horseback with Mad Mortigan and they're walking through those like tight knit, closed in rocks spaces?
Yes, before she slaps him and tries to run away.
Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that location. It has a very
It's.
similar look to it in
I'm
my
gonna
head.
I'm gonna butcher the name of this. It's the Puetengirua Pinnacles, also known colloquially as the Pinnacles. It's a geological formation in New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand,
yeah.
you still astound me.
Literally everything is there. I don't know how, but everything is there.
I mean, everything was pretty much, with the exception of that, everything was shot on location in Wellington.
And then we get the cane knife.
The cane knife.
What an interesting knife.
Freaking brutal. It, I- it's a cane knife. It's a thing. I don't think it could just chop through an arm that easily.
That's that's a slight gripe I have with this.
You
I have
wanted it to be slower?
no. It's that no character seems to have bones.
This is
No.
true.
Everything
Well,
cuts like butter in this film. And I didn't know if I can give it a pass if that's what the zombie infection does, but this man is not turned yet.
That's what the infection does, liquefies
I'm
bones.
I'm just saying it
Liquefies
could.
bone.
If
Gilderoy
if
Well,
Lockhart
yeah,
that
syndrome.
because
is
they're technically rotting, so that
yeah,
fits in technically.
if that's something to it that the bones are, mush because of the virus, okay.
I think it's for comedy,
Yeah,
and
it's supposed to. Yeah,
that's it.
comedy.
oh
It's
yeah,
so funny when limbs get cut off. Oh, I love it.
it's definitely for comedy. Because
Well, it's
yeah,
hyper realistic, or like hyper upper reality of if you get your arm cut off, it just cuts right off. There's no bone. There's no
Yeah.
no force of.
Also, for a movie this gory, this guy's not bleeding like at all getting his arms cut
That
off.
was my complaint for it. That I my notes.
That
He wasn't bleeding.
He's bleeding a little.
I was fine with him getting cut like butter for comedy, but there should have been blood, a lot of blood.
they're saving it. They had to. They didn't want to blow their load this early. Okay, there would have been a lot of
budget
blood.
constraints. They only had a limited amount of fake blood to use.
They can't waste all their blood on Zendaya.
They were like,
Yeah.
okay, everybody wants the blood. They're gonna want this guy to be really, really bloody. And you know what? We're not gonna do that. We're gonna have him no blood.
And then again, this guy's a nobody.
To be fair, it would be funny
No,
though, like
buddy.
if there was he's no one. If it'd be funny if there was like blood
Zombie.
stains, like the people who would like kill them were blood stained, and they still turned the monkey, and they were all still like covered in blood, and the transaction happens like nothing went wrong.
Oh yeah,
That would yeah. That would have been pretty funny actually.
I would have been amused by that.
I will say it was inconsistent with the scratch on his forehead. It was not there until they pointed it out.
Yeah.
Yep. And honestly, we're lucky he didn't, get worse off because he was pushed off a moving vehicle and fell pretty much head first
That was a
into
cool.
Yeah.
rocks.
That was
There's
a
no
cool
accidental
back-to-back
damage.
shots. I'll say
Yeah.
of the
Good.
foot to the camera to knock him over his side on the ground.
I like it. I like the camera work in this. It's really good.
It's good. It's creative. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
That's what you have to do when you don't have like,
I have
a budget and stuff like that. You have to use camera angles to make things more interesting.
Yeah.
I have the same gripe with the first Evil Dead movie. I think it looks. I like the camera work in it, but it's too busy. But that
Was the
it
first
became a
Evil Dead
style.
the one with the demon camera where it's blurred?
I don't think they
Blurred.
blurred it.
I thought
Oh,
there
you
was
mean
one.
like where they send like Bruce Campbell flying off, and
No, no,
he's
no.
like,
The camera is the eyes of the demon going through the woods, but isn't there
yeah,
one that's blurred opposed to like just still and sped up?
No.
I could be thinking of a completely different movie.
it's been a while since I saw the first one, so I'll have to
I mean,
rewatch
I
it.
guess there's motion blur, but I don't think there's anything that's just blurred.
Okay.
We'll talk. That's Evil Dead.
That's
We're
Evil
covering
Dead. I'm
Braindead,
sorry.
right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We'll reference it a couple times on here, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure this is not
apologies.
the end of Evil Dead. So I also in this early scene, it's kind of like towards the end that I like that they get ripped off by the travel uh, guy. He
Oh,
doesn't
their
give him the full
payment?
amount of money. Yeah, the payment. He doesn't give him the full amount because there's no that. I'm assuming because the zoo guy isn't there and he's of a paler skin, and so he wouldn't.
No, they ripped up the permit. They
Oh,
didn't
that's
come back with
right.
the permit.
That's right. Yeah, so it's all
This is
illegal.
illegal. Yeah.
That's legal. But I like that little nod, and then he does a little dance.
What what stopped the natives from crossing that tiny little creek stream? Are they just tired?
Forbidden Creek.
Forbidden
Yeah, the
Creek?
Forbidden
Like
Creek.
end of their
Yeah,
territory kind of thing?
I think so.
I don't know.
Best
They couldn't kill the car people, or else the movie wouldn't happen. So.
The best
Little,
assumption probably
yeah.
is where they ended. Also, we do see them shoot arrows, and those are probably about the worst arrows I've ever seen shot in a film.
Yeah,
They go like 6 feet.
yeah.
I mean, like I think I did better when I went to archery ranges like a 10-year-old, so it's a little bit of a problem. But It
I
gets
don't
it
know.
adds to the comedy.
They're spears, aren't they? There's no archers.
Yeah, there's a few archers in there.
Oh, I just thought it was
Yeah,
spears.
there's both.
It's a mix.
They're also
Yeah.
bad spear throwers because those didn't go anywhere either.
Oh yeah, they couldn't hit a stationary man on the ground. They
No.
just land around him.
I got the bad vibes.
I
I'll
did. Sorry, go on.
I was going to popcorn somewhere else, but
Oh.
if you still got more here.
Okay, no, I was gonna actually essentially popcorn. I think to the next scene, or like a little after the next scene, the transition from model airplane to like background airplane was actually pretty okay, and because they managed to do that like in camera,
Mhm.
it's very clearly a model.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think they do a good job of transitioning. Like once the guy gets out of the jeep to like greet the plane, at that point, I think when they transition back over to the plane, it's real, which I think they did a good job with. And if
Yeah.
not, it could be a model the entire time, in which case they just framed it really well.
No, I think there's.
No,
Okay,
I think the
yeah.
descent was a real plane.
Yeah, and it might have. Other little thing. This was shot on 16 millimeter instead of the standard at the time would have been 35. Doesn't have anything to do with this. I just remember that being a fact.
Additional fact.
Additional fact. Da-da-da-da.
All right, you said you had something, Crimson.
Yes, I was going to jump to when Vera just savagely murders an animal,
Oh,
hinting at her evil side, her murderous side that is revealed at the end.
Because it ruined her dress.
I don't. I mean, I picked up really quickly she was fucking evil, but I guess it's just.
But a
Yeah.
murderer?
Oh yeah,
Murder?
yeah. I got that really quickly. Well,
mean,
I
if
don't know.
you
If
were
I, got, I
ever,
don't know. I don't know if I got murderer, but I definitely got psychopath. So
if you were
the
gonna
murder didn't
murder
shock
something,
me.
if you were gonna murder something, it would be that rat thing. Thing's disgusting.
rat monkey.
That's true.
How
Yeah,
judgmental. It was
it
born
ripped
that
the arm
way.
off a monkey.
Yeah, and we judge you for your food habits all the time, Crimson. Why wouldn't I judge the monkey?
Yikes.
I choose to eat the way I do. The monkey rat did not
And
choose
Vera
the way it
chooses to kill
looked.
what she wants to kill. I mean,
I mean, yeah, as long as it's within reason, okay.
But I do like the stomping out the monkey's head is very good foreshadow for how brutally gory this film was going to be.
Yeah, that was kind of when I first watched this. I was like, okay, this is gonna be pretty damn gory. That with the
I,
monkey arm getting torn off was a good indication.
I liked one of the bystanders while they're all reacting to her just stomping its head in. This is just old man that's like, ugh, and takes a picture.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, that was
gross.
funny.
Use it for my newsletter. Uh,
Uh,
did ever, another additional fact? The star of this film,
Lionel, or whoever the
Lionel,
actor who played Lionel.
yeah,
Yeah.
Timothy Vaughn. This was his first movie. I
I can
bet you
believe
can't
it.
tell. I
what?
think he did a good job, honestly.
Oh, I
For
thought he
for a
did a
first
horrible job.
for a first movie that you're ever gonna do, this is pretty good, all things considered.
Like legitimate, I do have some critiques, but yeah, he's just starting out.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
my
mean, it's
critiques are to someone who's just starting out. He can't do tears on command. That's very obvious. He can't
He can't
do.
act.
he can't crawl, he can't walk.
He no,
Can't even do.
he gets his face contorted right, but the eyes are the problem. Like the eyes
I
aren't
like.
lining up with the contortions of his face to get the mood of the acting across. It's kind of how I would describe, I guess, my critique of his acting in this film. But yeah, definitely, he's just starting out.
But I think the other thing going into it is it fits like the hammy nature. I mean, I wish he was better, but it
There's no
worked.
Bruce Campbell.
He's no Bruce Campbell.
He pulls off the campy, exaggerated faces.
It can't be.
I'm trying to think, like, how wild would this
Can't be
movie
Campbell.
be if Lionel
If
was
Bruce
like,
Campbell was.
well, not Bruce Campbell, but like just some other like Leonardo DiCaprio. like a big name, and everyone else is like no one you've ever heard of.
I don't know. I think the thing I like about him, I don't really like his acting that much. It's not that great. But I think the thing I like about him is that he looks so cowardly, he looks so weak, and then when he kind of finally transforms near the end, it feels better
He
because
definitely
of it.
gives me Ichabod
Yes,
vibes.
but I like that. I like that just because he doesn't look like a hero at all, and then kind of when it happens. So
When he
I don't like him as an actor, but he had the look for it, which I think works. That's the most thing that works is that he looks like the part, and it fits it. But acting wise, he's not that good in this one. I haven't seen him in anything recently. I don't know if he got better.
Something I like to bring up, kind of targeted Crimson here. There's a possibility that writer and Sinister, you both will know what I'm talking about, but possibly not. This whole opening bit with the opening credits looks like a Haven episode.
is
Based off
I
the 2 episodes you've seen.
Yes,
Um,
it reminded me a lot of Haven.
think you've offended
I'll take
Crimson. I
that.
don't think he thinks it looks like that at all.
I know he's
is
barking at
Haven
me.
is Haven that show that they were like a bunch of scientists dealing with the supernatural?
No, that's
Yeah,
Eureka.
Oh, that's Eureka. Okay.
no. Eureka is the science one, Haven's the supernatural one. So yes, that was that one. I don't personally get the vibes, but
Who am
good
I to argue?
observation.
I
Because
think it's just
you've seen the
because,
pilot and the Christmas episode.
yeah, I think it's because it's just a little like Bayside town with kind of
Yeah,
older
Okay.
looking buildings and cars. I think that's what really gave it away to me. But
Okay. I thought when you said opening, you were talking about the mountainous area with the cage.
no.
Um,
Cage.
okay, the actual town.
But
Sure,
man,
sure, I could see that with the
I can this the, nothing in this film I think was worse than the Kraken Haven
town. Well, this
in
didn't
the
rely
pilot.
too much on
I know it
CGI.
didn't. I'm just saying if we're still on Haven right now, I just
Can you
But yeah,
imagine if
that
that was
crack in the road
CGI?
was pretty bad. No, no, I don't.
It's
I
weird.
don't want to imagine that in this.
I was reading a little article that somebody wrote, like I think within a year or so about this movie, and they were saying, and I disagreed with them for the most part. They were saying that the practical effects don't look good in this, and that CGI would look better. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think 1992 CGI would look better than this, honestly.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Then again,
With a few exceptions, obviously there's some scenes in here with the practical effects I think don't work too well, but it's just, I
Mhm,
I think as far as practical effects go, this is a pretty damn good usage of them.
I agree.
I said this at the beginning, it felt like Goosebumps. It also, because of just the day using daylight as lighting rather than
Yeah.
artificial lighting, made me feel like I was also watching a Beyond Belief episode.
You did say that you were asking if this was
I
made
did.
for
I,
TV
I
film.
asked
Yeah.
if this was a made for TV film by the way it looked. And then I
Yeah.
looked it up and it was theatrically released. I went,
I honestly
okay.
I need to find the other version I watched because I
Yeah.
remember it looking a lot better than it did than this version did. But
Yeah.
can't say for sure.
Yeah. I do. Yeah. I think we talked about this before the podcast, Spring. So we both at one point thought it looked like Goosebumps, but just rated R,
Yeah.
which was I think funny
Very
that we both went.
gory werewolf fever swamp. So,
Werewolf at Fever Swamp, the infamous episode. That is a good one. How did everybody feel about Paquita?
Uh, Best
um,
character.
Question
You may
mark?
not love her dog much,
back
but she is a good character.
back and forth, and then she solidified herself a bit more.
I
Yeah,
hated the whole relationship building stuff in the beginning, but
Shocker.
yeah.
that's past
That
that.
was the worst part. Yes,
Yeah, to me, she was more shocked in the magic of the cards than actually being in love with him.
those cards were huge. By the way, they were gigantic,
Yes, they
gigantic
were.
cards.
Well, they had to show the detail. for the
Yeah,
close-ups.
I guess that's
I
true.
do I do like that we follow like the monkey's truck or the truck with the monkey on it up into the store, which
Yeah.
introduces us to Paquita. I think that was a nice transition.
Yeah. I think we're learning that Peter Jackson always had a knack for transitions
Sure.
for the most
I don't
part.
think that's what he's known for, but okay.
You know, it's a really good tool for a filmmaker to have, though.
It
Yeah,
is.
to going from one scene to another fluidly without noticing it. But so we all like Paquita then for
Yeah.
For the most part, I get
75,
yeah.
50%. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, geez, he's definitely better than Lionel and Vera, and well, I g- I guess Les is kind of amusing, but not a great guy.
Not a good guy, yeah.
What
You don't
the
really
is can someone inform me, what is less, like,
I
breathing on?
I think it's supposed to be
I thought it was
Inhaler of
asthma.
some sort.
I
I
thought
don't know.
I legit thought it was inhaler, and he inhaled while he was smoking a cigarette. I did find that funny.
it might be. I was thinking like the what is has anybody here seen Blue Velvet?
I have
No.
not.
No,
Okay, well yeah, the uh Blue Velvet. There's the Dennis Hopper. I can't remember what he's got the gas mask or whatever, and I think it's nitrous, but that's not what that is because it's a little pocket thing that he had like a whole tank and everything. It must be like an inhaler, but maybe I've just never seen one from this time period. I don't know what it is.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I can't say definitively. My guess would be inhaler.
But it's
He
like,
perks
it's
up
not in
and
his mouth. It's so far away from him.
well, yeah.
It
Uh,
felt it reminded me of, Dumb and Dumber with the breath, like, spray that doesn't go
yeah.
in the mouth, like, it's just that far away, but
Supposedly, it's oxygen due to breathing difficulties. So
Okay.
that would look more accurate, yeah, as a breathing oxygen tube.
yeah, but
right.
I was curious about that when I watched. I never figured out what it was until now.
Isn't
Alright.
oxygen flammable?
Yeah,
Right next to a cigarette?
yeah, you know,
Well, he's already burning his lugs, you know.
yeah.
And burning later, along with everybody else. Uh,
I
In this
hope.
first act, yeah, my favorite shot is in it. I'm sure you guys could probably guess what that is.
What is
It is
Peterson's
the
favorite
lawnmower
oh,
one.
okay, well,
The
I guess
lawnmower.
I
You
couldn't
love the
even
lawnmower
guess.
scene.
Oh, with
It
the
was too
Yeah,
long of
lawnmower
a pause.
over the camera.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, it was a good
That
shot.
was
I
my
wrote that one
favorite
down
shot.
too.
Not when the dog jumped 20 feet?
the classic dog duck for 20 feet.
No,
Fernando.
Francis,
Fernando.
Francis.
or was it Brenda?
I thought the
No, it's
dog's name was
Fernando.
Fernando.
Okay, I don't know why. I thought it was Francis.
Fernando.
That's
Francis
funny.
is Francis is a better name.
I have a
Um,
question, and then Ryder, you can go. For tarot
yeah,
cards, when I'm guessing it's Paquita's mom,
Grandmother.
mom or
grandmother,
grandma. Yeah.
one of the two, um, says to look for the symbol of the star and moon, but it's on the star card. Isn't the moon card its own separate card?
Uh, yes.
I would imagine, but I don't
Mm,
know enough.
they're intertwined cards. It's a thing. They're rarer, but they do happen.
Okay, because that to me was a little confusing when she said look for the star and moon, but the moon is only a crescent of the star card. So
I I I don't know. I used to know more about tarot stuff. I've forgotten probably about as much as that I did know. Um, but yeah, sometimes they're just entangled, and it is rare. But no.
And then
Um,
her prediction immediately happens.
yeah, immediately.
yes. Before
Immediately.
that, just before that, the old lady tries to hide the oppression card from her, which, aside from the obvious, the only other additional note that can be made about the card is that it also can mean heavy burden.
Mm,
Because obviously the oppression stuff is obvious. It's pretty much self-explanatory as to where that fits in the story.
yes.
Uh, Cruel or unjust exercise of power and authority, yada yada. But it can also be considered a heavy burden, which I thought was interesting.
Taking care of zombies. It's quite a heavy burden.
Taking care.
Also,
Uh,
the card. What was it? The Knight of Swords card that she pulls, and she goes, "Oh, this doesn't look like whoever she's in love with
Richard. Yeah,
currently." Yeah,
Richard.
Richard, and she's like, "It's not supposed to
Yeah.
look like Richard. Is it
I
supposed
love
to look
that.
like Lionel?"
Well, I mean, they do a fade of him in bed. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's supposed to look like him, but it absolutely does not.
it's. I kind of wish they didn't do that because it would be better. It was just funny if like it's supposed to look like anybody, then it would be better. But because it's supposed to look like Lionel, it kind of loses a little bit of that zing. It
They
doesn't
could
look
have
Uh,
like Lionel.
they could have written it little differently.
I
Oh,
one thing I do what I think I did find funny is once Paquita sees the star from Lionel spilling over the pencils and how annoyed she is with him the entire scene up until that point.
I love
I
that.
do like that she just fucking like credits towards him and he just dive bombs onto a trolley to get away.
Oh, here you go.
I was amused by that.
Gotta make sure you don't put the biscuits on the bottom.
yeah, she didn't really like him at all until her premonition
And
came
I think she
forth.
was just shocked. So I said, I don't think she fell in love
Well,
with him.
she
Santa
dove right
Maria.
into it.
Yeah. Wouldn't you if you found true love?
Well, to be fair, it also shows very clear that she just wants to date somebody because she's
Yeah.
adjusting her dress in front of the next person that's there. So I can totally buy her really wanting to fall in love. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Did we love all the what I'm certain are almost definitely stock footage zoo stuff.
oh,
Oh, the lion and
The
yeah, that was
lion and the camel. The camel was my favorite. Spittle on its mouth.
yeah, that was
Disgusting
fine.
creature.
But then again, the set location looked like they were actually walking in an actual zoo.
I'm sure
So I don't
I
know
think
if
they
that
did
actually
film an
was
actual
stock.
zoo.
it it just had a different grain to it. That's the only reason I don't think it was, but it just doesn't it sticks out. I don't really know why.
I think I can lean more with your side, Sinister, that it is stock simply for Lionel and Paquita aren't like pointing at the animal with them in the shot.
Mm,
I mean, that would just be like B-roll. Yeah. They don't have
B-roll.
to be in the shot for it to be made.
Uh, I just want to say that man, Lionel's mom's voice really really carries.
Yeah,
She can hear him call his name from down the fucking street. And their house is on the hill. We pan up to see their house because it's far.
Ryder, that's what it's like having a domineering mother.
I will. Oh look, I'm only pointing this out because we complained about Wesley's
Oh
shout.
yeah,
You heard throughout the whole
even though that was
game.
worse, but yes,
So that's
that was
absolutely
pointed
worse.
out.
And to
I
put this
will
right.
absolutely say that's not worse, but this is on a tier. You know.
Yes,
It's within the realm,
it's
yes.
worth pointing out.
Do you think it's
It's
a
actually
good
psychological.
do you think it's a good opening for the mother being this, as we know, murderer, that she's holding this huge ass knife in her introduction scene?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it is both funny and poignant.
I've also used a
I like
butcher's
that
knife to open a letter. Yes.
she used this fucking giant steak knife to open a lever. I'm like, all right, something's off. Red flag.
Abort, abort.
And she wasn't using the knife. Like there was no other like
No,
she wasn't chopping something or she
Well,
used it
I think she was trying to use it to kill
the beetle.
the beetle.
the
Yeah,
beetle that we never saw, so it was obviously all in her head.
Yeah, it could have
obviously
been.
Well, no, her son was too long, gone too long, so she just needed, you know.
used to
I
getting
told
that
you to
over there.
spray.
I will say something I do enjoy in this scene, which happens twice, I believe, is the radio or the television or the radio. I think the radio is covering like an ad about cleaning supplies and how to clean things while Vera's telling Lionel what to clean.
I do like the use of like little radio gags. I think it happens like 2 or 3 times, and it's pretty funny both. It's pretty funny each time.
So I do like that detail.
Did you guys all like the zookeeper? His 2 little stories.
the origin of the rat monkey.
Yeah,
It's an interesting theory, but who am I to
with
say that it's incorrect?
an unlit cigarette coming out of his mouth.
I'm glad that it is the same one as we see in the credits driving.
Yeah,
So it's the same character. It's not just some new guy.
Uh,
and then obviously the father trying to take a picture of his son, and then Vera comes in and disappears.
Oh,
Also,
dude, she's freaking fast. She was so speedy.
it was
she got the killer speed.
killers. The
I,
killers.
I, it is very on the nose, but I do like that Vera steps on a flower when Bakita shows up to the house.
Oh, symbolism.
Yep.
Yes,
And then the
I do
vase
like my symbolism.
crashes.
Yep.
Steps on the flower,
I,
vase
I,
crashes.
I'm pretty sure she's obviously broke the vase herself, but
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
To distract
she's
Lionel.
yeah, and then she has to tell a story, a sob story about how it was the last thing her husband gave her before he died in that horrible drowning accident. It was definitely 100% Lionel's fault.
yeah,
Yeah,
still 100% psychopathic bitch.
yeah. Another thing. Lionel at the zoo looks at, I guess, just a pond and starts going into a
Yeah,
trance. I'm like, can any set of water just trigger him?
I don't think he takes baths. I
We're
think he takes
getting
showers.
quick
Is all I'm saying.
character backstory.
No, I
Why
think
what?
it's
could they
fine.
have
It's just
crammed that in?
there's more. I just feel like there would be more opportunities along the line where he gets stuck in a trance.
I mean, they kind of do, don't they? There's a couple scenes, or one other scene where it
I
kind of
think he has a
happens out of nowhere.
nightmare at one point.
Oh, I guess that's. It might just depend
I
on the water. I don't know.
the fu- I again I thought it was very funny that the mother blames him not dusting as the reason the pot fell and broke.
Well,
That was
when dust accumulates, it can knock things over
Well,
from
he
its
also.
sheer
I
weight
mean,
Yeah,
I
added
mean,
weight of
against it.
dust.
yeah, and he didn't vacuum the ceiling, so points off for that.
Some would say that's ridiculous. Others would
But
say it's a
Yeah.
common chore.
look. Here,
as
I'll read you a direct quote from my notes. Manipulating over dead father and how broken vase relates. Anyone else getting a little bit concerned?
Just a
Wee bit.
little.
I mean, it's vacuuming the ceiling. It's as common as apple pie and cleaning the bathroom 3 times. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Also, Paquita stalked him home.
Uh,
Uh,
I'll
back,
say
Oh, but
Crimson. You go. I'll let you first.
back to the zookeeper.
your favorite
When
character,
he's pulling or about to pull the monkey out, he's like talking
Oh,
to the rat monkey.
the rat monkey. Yeah,
Yeah, his mouth doesn't move. It's a
yes,
straight on shot of his face. He's yeah,
yeah,
get
I
out
saw
of it,
that.
you vicious little shit! And his mouth isn't moving at all. It looks so bad.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Uh, they try to make it look like the movement of the cigarette implies that he's speaking, but it doesn't work.
yeah. I mean, almost. If he had just moved just a little bit, it would have worked fine. But it's just like if you really pay attention to it, it doesn't work. Thankfully, I think when this came out, not a lot of people were film connoisseurs as we are, so
Oh
that went
no,
over.
of
No, I
'92.
did. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah.
When did Cisco and Ebert start? Well, were they in the '90s?
That was in the '80s, I think, right?
Or in the '80s?
Well, I mean, they've been around before whenever they started their show, but
Yeah, I don't mean when they were born, but when they started
they were born 19.
critiquing.
I'll look it up. Well, you have your somebody.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
was
my
it?
other
Yeah,
thing. I let
Springs, you were
Crimson
gonna
go.
say something.
Man, this movie gave absolutely no warning to claymation. When the rat monkey
Okay.
punched the other one in the face and went straight to that claymation, that was very jarring to me.
I mean, is that
Yeah.
any claymation in a movie? Well, what's a setup for claymation other than showing claymation?
Tone, music.
I mean, we got the
CGI.
tone that this is a corny B film.
No, of this. I
Hey,
mean,
now.
of the scene. Like,
What?
oh, like if they're like, oh, that one looks weird, or that what why does that one look so off? And then it cuts to it like something to go towards, rather than it gets punched in the face, gets dragged, and then it's a claymation rat creature.
There was in 1992 there was puppetry or stop motion if you wanted to have a little creature thing. Don't really. I understand your point, but I don't know how
Okay.
else they could.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I
I'm
don't know
being
how you set up
diplomatic here.
claymation without just showing claymation. I think it's going to be jarring regardless.
Yeah, like if you watch Ray Harryhausen stuff, it now it looks really weird, but back then it was like, oh my god, how are they doing this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I mean,
seemed
I think it's just
more.
gonna be
I think
jarring.
it's because of the cuts of the shots of how fast they were to the punch, the monkey fall, the
Yeah,
grab, um,
Well, I mean,
to
that to
it.
be fair, that's them trying to hide the fact that it's, you know,
yeah,
done
because
in
it.
claymation. They're trying to
Yeah,
make it look real, remember? So
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, but it just sorry, yes, and yes, and I
Ooh,
thought it just felt very fast.
okay.
And I this film did give me a lot of feels to Gremlins, even
Yeah,
though they're different plots, of course. But the pleasant little town, then something occurs, disaster.
How would okay? I got a follow question for you, Springs. How would you ease this into claymation?
I would have
ooh, things would be
gone with
weird.
yeah, I would have gone with shadow to start, like a shadow, maybe just a hand movement or a leg movement, or even the rat tail, monkey tail, and then people discussing it, maybe a point of view shot from behind the bars, and then like hands wrap around the bars to show
Oh, like
claymation.
subtle build up
Yeah,
kind of
subtle
thing.
build up to then the punch to give the reveal of the thing, rather than right there the whole claymation all in one. Because,
Within the context
but
of
then
the
again,
film,
being a horror film,
yeah,
yeah,
no. With my follow up to this to kind of support your point actually, because I think I can sort of buy your point. I think something that could use within the film that is an example that they do use later, so they clearly had the technical skills. They use the shadow of the mom's creature at the end first before it's revealed.
yes,
Like they show the
ripping the
liquor
uncle.
hands first, and then they show the shadow on the wall.
Yeah, I think that plays better to me than this here. I mean, of the reveal, of a reveal.
Okay. Okay.
Mm. I think it's two different things. Like I agree that the shadow thing's an interesting approach, but that's like building up as like this is a monster. This is an animal here. This does not get much focus in the
Crimson,
movie.
this thing could be a
It's not
monster.
the big
This
boss.
thing's a monster. It's not the big
It,
bad, but it's a
it
I mean, it's
it's an
sort of the big
animal.
bad because it's, but yeah.
I mean, people could see any animal as a monster, right? But in the context of this movie, this is just an animal. It's like a weird mutated animal.
I think the stop motion helps it look even weirder. I think it makes it feel more.
I agree that the stop motion works. I think, but I understand Crimson's
Yeah,
sorry
yeah,
Spring's point that we could have been eased more into it as an audience. I think that's kind of what the crux of his point is. So
I
always
could,
I
Springs
think
yeah,
jump in and
eased in would have been, especially for still towards the beginning of the film, would have been more of a build up to the, you know, over the top gore action later in horror. But then again, the use of it here, of how fast it was to cut to it, I think gives not a jump scare, but more of just like a slight shocked approach in a horror film. So I
mm,
think it's a style used for the genre.
mm. Yeah. I don't think this movie was trying not to shock people. Honestly, I think I think there was an
Like
intent to shock.
the which was before this film takes before Beetlejuice, for example, beforehand using stop claymation for
Yeah,
when he turns into a snake on the rafters. That has a little more build up to it than just appearing. But then again, in the same vein of Beetlejuice, it has the sandworms that just appear.
yeah.
There's very little build up to that. They're just appearing, which I think is in hand with this, where it just appears.
Also hard to compare the two because this is kind of like an what would now what we consider nowadays like an independent movie, and that's like a big budget like Hollywood.
True, true.
It was
I'm just
yeah,
saying both kind of
a little bit
the
easier to do one approach than the other.
comedy horror vein.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right.
On the note of your favorite character, Crimson Zookeeper, spilling blood onto Paquita's red heels. I just want to say she's got the red
No,
idea. She's wearing red heels.
no, it wasn't blood. It was pee. He peed. The monkey peed on her.
No, it's the blood from its
No, no,
arm
it
that
was the
got
blood
ripped off.
dripping off. Yeah,
Oh, what? What? Why was it clear?
It wasn't.
it wasn't.
I gotta see it.
The monkey's dead.
Well,
I will
yeah, I
say,
know that.
when we get to the recap of this season, can everyone please remember that Crimson's favorite character of the season is the zookeeper?
It's not, but
I
It's the
didn't
favorite
say
character of
that.
the season
I
so
made that
far.
joke.
So I said Paquita was.
Yeah, Peta's his favorite. Second
Uh,
only to Les.
this is might be one of
Oh,
the
it is blood. That's
fastest
weird.
relationships I've seen.
Eh.
We've covered a couple quick ones, like Casablanca, which we argued about thoroughly. But in this, she kissed him real quick. That was really fast. Her pushing the date was really
That's
quick,
how they.
but it's destiny. It's in the cards.
It's in there for her. She clearly wants to go on a date and
Oh,
fall in
okay.
love. So
Well, she knows
I
there's
think
only
Yeah,
one
yeah.
romance. This is it.
This is yeah. This is
This
it.
is
Once he
the one.
dies, it's over. There's no more romance.
I think from
Oh,
her find, I'm fine. Like she would do that because she's clearly established to want this really badly. But I agree, it's very fast. So you know,
I'm kind of happy that they do it fast because I think if it took up more time, wouldn't be as
Well, in
interesting. I
that
don't know.
vein, yes,
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
is the worst part of the film, I think.
Yeah.
The romance?
Yeah,
It's just it's awkward. I don't. It's not really the.
uh,
It's kind of the focus of it, but it's I don't know.
if it was
It's the
better written,
subplot.
I would. Yeah,
Yeah.
if it was better written, I think it would strengthen things that happen later. But this is what we got. So
Uh, being that the two films he had under his belt before this are called Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles, I don't think he was into writing romance. Yeah.
I probably concur.
Well,
Not that he didn't write this technically, but
well,
fully
he wrote the screenplay
Sinister,
for
he
it.
did
I
write
think.
the
part of
screenplay
this.
with two other people.
That's what
But
I
I
mean.
don't,
Like, but
with what you're saying, I don't think Jackson was the one pushing the romance aspect of the film. Could have been one of the other two.
but we still have it, so we have to talk about it. We got mom gets bitten, and we have her getting her dressing.
And where's Doctor Pimple Popper for anyone who
It is
watches that?
this is the Dr. Pimple Popper of this world.
Uh, yeah, this fight it goes quick. It gets very quick later. How fast these people turn.
Yeah, the heart that it shows. Is that in her arm or is that her heart?
Oh, was that a heart?
Whatever
Yeah, I
it
didn't
was
real.
pulsing. I thought it was some form of heart.
I
Yeah,
always
I
thought
wrote
it.
that down in my notes too. It's unclear. I didn't think it was a heart specifically, but I'm like, it's weird that we're seeing a heartbeat. I couldn't tell if it was just like
I just saw it as
the
like
I always
pus
pulsating.
that was coming
Yeah,
out. Yeah,
My
the pus
impression
that was coming
my
out of it
impression was it
was.
was from the arm. And
I
that
always
wasn't
read it
her
as like the
actual heart.
infection. Yeah, I always
Yeah,
read it as
No,
the
that was me.
infection, but it also could. It looks like the heart, so I'm not. It's not, but it looks like it, and I think that should have been changed. I think it's unnecessarily confusing.
I mean, the gore aspect is achieved, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, that
it looks weird, like it's intentionally supposed to.
do you like the combination that it was like ejaculate?
I didn't
No,
But it's,
realize
I didn't
that.
get that.
You didn't get
no, to
that
be
because
honest, no,
technically,
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I
But
mean that makes sense.
it makes sense that
You
it
know.
went onto the husband's photo.
Well, no, because they were splicing between her discomfort in bed with
yeah,
the other
Lionel.
scene in bed.
Yeah, and then I didn't catch that the first time I watched it, and saw it, and I was like, oh.
I'm gonna
Uh,
be honest. I watched a lot of hentai. I don't think I made that connection ever in my life. This is surprising, I guess.
I
I
mean,
will
it's
point
a
out,
connection I wish I didn't have, but I have it.
but now it's out there.
It's
Uh,
a good connection to make.
it shot
Mm,
out of the bandages onto the picture, and
Lionel
then in
didn't
the
wrap it very
morning,
well.
ugh, so
the
disgusting looking.
morning he checks up on her, and there's no hole in the bandages, and they're still on her, so
Well,
they didn't unravel.
I don't think it came out of a hole. I think it came out of like the end of the arm.
Well, that
Yeah,
would have just shot up towards the bedpost then, not at the picture.
Well,
watching it.
true, but but that's not.
I don't know.
I don't think it made a new hole. I think it came out of the end,
Oh, they
but
don't
the
show
end
it. Yeah,
trajectory went that. So
well, they
Well,
have
the
the
curve.
end of it, and it looks like it's bubbling out from wherever the wound is, and then they just have a scene of it just shooting out, but there's no so I cannot confirm or deny what where it came from.
Uh, I think the one more thing I got, I guess, is the conversation between
Ugh.
Lionel and his mom after the date's ruined, and we get to see him that manipulative side of the mother. If it wasn't clear
Mhm.
before, it's really hammered home here in this next scene, in that scene.
Yeah, I think they did a good job establishing their relationship, and
Yeah. Honestly, the reason I emphasizing this is I think it's done well enough to why I buy all of Lionel's future actions because he's not okay in the head either because of his mom.
mhm.
well, no, as a young boy who watches mom murder someone.
Spoiler.
Oh,
I don't know how
sorry.
I forgot that.
If you're at
It's
this over an
I'll cover that.
hour podcast and have not seen Braindead, apologies about the spoiler.
Hey, you did the same thing to me. I'm just being that guy. Come on now.
Sorry, it's I'm out of
It's
act.
out there.
I'm speaking out of
It's out there.
act.
Yeah. Children forget traumatic things all the time, Crimson. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, I've forgotten more traumatic things than I'll ever know.
I've never experienced a traumatic event.
Why?
Ugh. um,
We're the trauma
but
generation. Come on.
yeah, I know. But like again, let's go back to my point. I guess is that I think that all of those scenes in tandem with the mother worked really well for me in terms of establishing Lionel's character as such. I will actually be able to buy all the dumb shit he does later on because it's all
Mhm.
within character because he's also not okay in the head.
Uh,
Mother spent her entire life manipulating him almost.
it's one of those things where, again, I think we've mentioned it a couple times that, especially in films, that you can kind of do pretty much anything within reason as long as the character is set up where it makes sense that they would do that thing, right? I mean, that's
Yep.
so you can believe even the most unbelievable thing as long as it's set up well enough where the person is, capable of doing such a thing.
Yeah.
So yes, I believe that Lionel could have a host of undead zombies in his basement kept alive, because he does seem like a Norman Bates character.
S- he can't let go. He can't let things go.
Can't let things go. Anybody else have anything to say about this act before we move on to the next one?
I actually have nothing left.
Crimson.
Um, I guess during the cutting back and forth with the nighttime thing, we
Mhm.
also get to see more of the tarot cards and all the ones she keeps drawing,
Death,
looking for something better. Yeah,
pestilence, doom.
she keeps drawing bad ones.
Yeah. But hey, Paquita and Lionel are having a
Yeah,
good time.
Yeah, I hear they're going to go to the movies.
here they're gonna. I think
Never
it is.
happened.
Never.
Yeah, some stuff happened before they could go on their date,
Yeah, what movie came
including
out
to
in
not limit to a
'57?
dog murder. But
I have to say that I think the thing that still makes me uneasy, even though I know the festering wound still grosses me out. It's done so
yeah,
so well. I hate that.
yeah, I think it like I said, I deal with gore decently well. Like I never had an issue whenever I was watching The Walking Dead, the first few seasons, or Game of Thrones. This obviously doesn't compare to that, because it's obviously the gore is the intention almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, this is one of the rare times I actually felt a little bit uncomfortable at times with the gore, and I think that's a testament to. I think it's the goal,
Yeah.
obviously.
You know what I think one of my problems is, or like, not my problem, like I don't like it, but like the thing that I think really gets me with it and makes me uncomfortable is the wetness, like the stickiness of it, like it's just like ugh.
Um, Sprinks, 1957, 12 Angry Men came out,
Yeah, they could
to
have
answer your
gone.
question.
I just looked it up. They could have gone and saw 12 Angry Men.
Yeah,
Was that in New Zealand at that point?
probably
I don't
not.
know what the
I don't know.
embargo is on, or
I do
the
not know.
importing of movies, how long it takes in the 50s.
I'll just say
It
could
used
be.
to take like it took like a year for it to go to like 12 theaters in America, right? Back in the day,
1957? Maybe.
because they'd have the premiere, at like wherever, like the I don't know, the Chinese movie house or whatever they have on Hollywood
Yeah.
Boulevard, and then they would, have maybe a New York one too at some point, but be a long time.
That's all I got for the act.
Okay, moving on to Lionel's mom is infected to the funeral.
Okay.
This scene, the scene with the WWL meeting is, I'm just gonna say it's disgusting. It might be one of the grossest things I've seen.
Yep.
Wellington Women's Welfare League.
Uh, it's also like I said, there was part of me was like, because again I had to sit on this movie a lot, um, in the
Oh
sense of
my
like
god.
mentally, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, but man, the nonchalantness of like the mother going, "Oh," when like she's trying to put makeup on and it just peels off like the skin of her face.
Oh.
I just love the like how frantic she is, and then she just goes, "Oh."
I'm dying.
Just get the
Yeah, I mean,
glue.
everyone in this is pretty nonchalant regarding these zombies.
I think that works with like the humor though. It's the it's kind of it's sort of like I read a thing
Like no
on
one's
it where
having
somebody,
like the normal human reaction they would to
yeah,
this sort of thing. It is kind of funny in
it's
retrospect for sure.
because like I don't know, with gore, or like somebody made the when I was reading up on this movie, somebody made a comparison to I don't I don't think it fits overall, but just for a specific scene in like Holy Grail, and I wish I could remember the article name so I could quote the person, but I don't on the top of my head. The Monty Python and the Holy Grail, they made the comparison with the Black Knight, who it's a flesh wound.
Mhm.
Like when he gets his
I
arms and limbs cut off, he's not like screaming and yelling. So it adds to like the nature of how funny it is, because it's so not what reality would be like. So you can kind of like, oh, it's funny because oh, he's just a torso now. Like, how can he fight? Like, and he's still wanting to fight. It's all about the tenacity of it. So like, kind of when people aren't doing what you would normally do, it make even if it's like super uncomfortable, you still have to find it funny because it just it fits.
uh there is definitely I definitely actually wrote down the Monty Python Black Knight reference for later on in this film when we're introduced to I guess our dark forces fighter
Yes,
temporarily.
Yeah, abstract humor.
abstract. Yeah, this dinner. I think it's supposed to be a lunch, but they feel like they're eating dinner stuff. So I don't really
I
know.
I legit thought it was
Fancy lunch.
breakfast. Then I'm like, oh, steak and beans and potatoes. I'm like, I guess it's not breakfast.
Yeah, they
And
just call it a meal, so I don't
that could be
It's
know.
the
an
New
annual
Zealand
meeting. It's a
breakfast.
big deal.
We
I
got
guess,
American
yeah. I don't.
breakfast. They got, uh, what was it?
Maybe they do. Maybe
British
they do
breakfast
dinners
is,
first over there, and
yeah.
then they work their way back to breakfast for dinner.
I know, like
Oh,
British breakfast is like beans on
yeah.
toast and
What's the
stuff.
British breakfast called?
Fish and
Oh,
chips.
oh, yeah, English breakfast.
English breakfast. Yeah. Black
Can't
pudding
remember.
and eggs and stewed
Yeah.
tomatoes.
Very heavy, very heavy, very creamy.
This could just be the New Zealand breakfast,
Yeah, New Zealand
where you get
breakfast. Steak,
custard.
no pudding.
No
They-
pudding.
Yeah. To be
Pudding.
fair, before obviously all the gross stuff happens, it actually does look like a good pudding slash custard.
I don't know.
With the pus?
I would love a nice blood pudding, honestly.
No, I don't know. Before the pus, obviously. I haven't had
So-
it. The reason I guess it struck me is just because I haven't had a good pudding or custard in a really, really long time.
Oh, just like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. War.
Well,
Yeah,
Man.
maybe less demanding and less brutish, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that seemed a little out of the blue. It was a little silent, then just slammed on the table.
Hey, he's
Well,
got
we
to
need another
enforce
We need
himself.
another war. It's probably my favorite line of the movie.
Now, I
That's good.
thought with
Cold
the
War.
pus and the custard, it gave me feelings of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, of how this infection was going to spread.
Yep, I
That
got
was not the
misled with that
case.
too. Yeah, I got misled with that too.
But yeah, I was for sure thinking he was going to turn, and that never happened.
No, and
Yeah,
then
I
we
was
see him,
also expecting
we see him
to
at the
turn.
funeral, and he's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
when he
the,
turned up to the funeral, I expected him to be like, at least a little bit sickly, or something is clearly off. Might be slower acting because he didn't bite he didn't get
Yeah.
bit, but
No, I wrote in my notes, it does not infect people through digestion.
which I guess
Yeah.
makes sense. We have a lot of stomach acids that would kill that shit.
yeah, I guess one thing, and I mean, it's fine, but I kind of wish they would have taken the time to maybe explain a little bit the virus,
I think
infection.
that's one of the biggest objective hits to this film is it takes heavy inspiration of Evil Dead, obviously,
Mhm.
but they didn't account for what makes Evil Dead unique in the way its monsters are portrayed. That's that they're demons. There's not really many rules applying to them. But in this, they're zombies. They are grounded to what humans
What we
are
understand as
capable
zombies.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, like there has to
So
be a bite. There
they're
has to be
having
a.
sentient intestines,
Yeah.
cut off body parts that move, but sometimes they don't move.
Then we have
So I think the choice of them being zombies and not demons is a problem
I
for
think
how the mechanics work.
I think
to
the
add
wide. Oh yeah, you go. You go.
to add a little more onto that, Crimson, the ability to have superhuman strength is dropped to like normal strength very wildly in variations. I guess my example for this would be the mother crawling out of his grave and throwing somebody like 30 feet, and then not being able to slat Lionel's neck by grabbing him in the back of the head.
Oh yeah, he's got a whole bunch of plot armor.
Yeah, but I mean, like again, that also not consistent with their super strength either.
Yeah.
So
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Um,
just
like
saying
I
it's a
said,
thing.
just saying it's a thing. I think a lot of the time in this movie specifically, the rules are sacrificed for gags, and I'm not saying I think both are necessary for this to work, but I kind of wish there were maybe a little bit less sacrificing of rules for the sake of gags. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Hmm.
I think it works some of the time, and some of the time I kind of wish it was a little bit more certain.
I guess I'll bring up the. What do you think of Lionel's use of tranquilizers?
He really loves the nose.
Well,
I mean, you go straight to the brain.
not necessarily his choice to use, not necessarily how he uses them, but more like why he chose to use them.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to kill them. So
And
like,
it
Even
keeps
though
him
they're very
quiet.
clearly dead.
yeah. So
Well,
I guess that's
they're
your next step.
clearly dead to us. Even to Lionel, when he tells Paquita about them, he's not quite sure that they're 100% dead.
Yeah, he
Well,
thinks
Well, they're
that's just
moving
they're
around
rotting.
and
rotting.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're rotting.
And you know, but also in that scene, you can also clearly see it as a sense of denial as well. Like he's in
Yes.
denial.
I mean, that's why he's keeping his mother, quote unquote, alive this whole time.
Old denial Lionel.
That poor nurse, by the way.
Oh, yeah, she got bad.
Uh,
That's
was she the fastest to turn?
yes.
It was a pretty immediate.
It
She
was
just.
between her or the motorcycle
But
guy.
what
Those were like
infected
the
her?
2 quickest.
Scratch.
The scratch.
Oh, scratch. Okay.
Yeah, remember? Like,
The
any
nurse?
Yeah, I was
yeah,
trying
the
to figure
Yeah.
it out. She
The fingers go in her
cheeks
face.
Oh
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
so
rips her
that
neck.
I
And
think
then
that
they
would
just
count as
rip
scratches.
the neck. Yeah.
which kind of, one or the other, really, honestly. Don't both.
When I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's an objective problem. And then during our podcast here, I was like, oh, I guess that counts as a scratch. Once
Yeah.
we covered the guy in the beginning
I
getting
mean, it's
cut up, I'm
ridiculously
like, oh,
fast,
yes,
but
the
yeah,
scratches. Yeah. Well, yeah,
unless
they're
there's
very
something.
consistent with turning this.
The only point I can make, and I'm sure Crimson, you have a point to refute my point, but so I'm sure you're prepared for this legendary battle of wits. Um,
It's my 30-minute prep time.
yes, is that maybe they last longer while they're still alive if the wound isn't mortally fatal, that it takes longer for the rot to set in, or by dying it just happens much faster.
Hmm,
Uh,
That might have grounds.
that
I'm trying to think of
could
anyone that was
work.
alive and got prolonged. They all got murdered pretty quick.
The only person I can think of, but we don't really see the conclusion of it, is the lady who gets bit, who's helping Paquita like blender things at the end.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, she
she's
lived for a
clearly,
while and
yeah,
alive.
but she's alive through that. But she's clearly the infection starts taking its toll at a point.
Yeah, she gets
Yeah,
paler
but
and
So it might
it
you
might,
might be
yeah,
that might work. Yeah.
yeah. Shockingly, I don't really have a counter to
oh my god, it happened.
A point for
that.
Sinister.
Yes, I turned him.
20 long years of friendship have led to this.
You got one on me.
Oh. So yeah, and then of course one of my favorite, the radio gags with the teapot.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
It's good.
And then it plays
uh,
again, telling kind of like Bakita to get out.
Yes, it does. Uh,
Something
I,
I'll touch on. I don't think the front door's ever really locked because Lionel
mm,
just like turns the handle, opens it, or
yeah,
when the party
that's
comes, they walk
see
in.
for me that's fine because people don't
It's
lock their
50s.
doors. People used to not lock their doors.
Yeah, no,
So
no,
isn't
that's
that's okay.
fine.
isn't that
Bakita
amazing?
and Fernando just come into the house when Lionel's scrubbing.
Oh yeah, they just appear.
Yeah, they just walk in, but then Bakita complains later in the film that she's at the door calling like Lionel and he doesn't come. So is she doing that out of respect to not barge into the house that she's done before?
I don't think
Uh,
that's too crazy, and
yeah.
it's still normal to knock, even if it's
I
unlocked.
mean, the only thing like I can have with that is like I think if you're in a relationship and somebody's not, necessarily reciprocating the feelings or whatever, you start to read into what you do, and then you try to start changing it bit by bit. So maybe she notices, oh, I show up unannounced a lot, and then he always kind of pushes me away. Maybe I should try to give more notice or something. I don't know. None of that's in there, so that's all speculation.
Uh,
Yeah,
But
they've been dating for 2 or 3 days.
yeah, so it's pretty serious,
I just don't.
Yeah,
I
very
don't fully get why she didn't knock on the. She just her and Fernando just walk into the house.
Uh, was
Except
it?
I don't really
Yeah,
have an issue based on the time period. So because the people having their doors unlocked has been a thing
Well, the door.
probably up
No, no,
until
no.
the
The
early
the
2000s.
door being unlocked is not the issue I have. The
Oh,
the thing is,
just walking in saying hello, I'm here.
yeah, they had a whole conversation of Lionel saying this might be a mistake before they, went at it in a bed. But he's like, this might be a mistake. I don't think I can see you anymore. Like he's expressing himself, but she doesn't see it full. She just still comes in, especially after the reaction of the mom. So I don't know if she's just so honeymoon phase starstruck that she doesn't is so tunnel focused on Lionel, or
Oh, I'm sure that's a thing. So that's part of it.
That's part of it, but you also have to remember, like, yeah, she saw Lionel's concerns, but ultimately they did do the naughty in the bed. So I think
You were
she's
nasty in the bedroom.
yeah. So I think that made her feel comfortable with it. Because remember, she was going to leave, but Lionel's the one that pulled her back. So
which
I
he
don't
does a
think
couple
I have an
times, but
issue.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
yeah he did, like I said, it happens a couple times. I don't see that as an issue of her just barging in.
Okay.
Uh, because I mean, the first thing she does is go to talk to him. Like she's not gonna just like
Well, he's right there
he's
in
in the
front of the front
courtyard.
door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's right in the foyer. Like if she was just like walked into his bedroom, I think that would be a little too much. But like the fact that stays mostly in the foyer of the room up until the advent of her dog getting horrendously murdered, I think that's fine.
That poor dog.
Yeah, I saw the dog going up the stairs in the back, and I'm like, oh, dog's dead.
I couldn't remember if they. I was like, I don't remember if they killed. And I'm like, oh man, they did kill the dog
I don't really know why the dog went up there
because it was
Curious.
hungry.
because it was told to by everyone on set.
Yeah, yeah. Da da
I mean,
da da
she ate
da
the dog
da.
fast, and the dog made no noise.
It
I mean,
barked once.
that barked once. That was enough. Set her off.
Man,
Yeah,
Nikita takes the death of her dog really well.
extremely well, which
Your
goes
mother
towards my
ate my
point
dog.
earlier, where no one reacts to death in this.
Yeah,
Movie.
yeah. No one reacts to death in this. That was this was my first clue of that. Because I mean, we had people reacting to the death of the monkey. Some people thought it was brutal, and others were in shock. But this was just take it in stride. She even offered to help pack for his mom.
Mhm.
She's deaf too because she didn't hear the whole nurse stuff going on
No,
downstairs.
the radio was going on.
The radio is playing. That's what.
Also, a good
Gospel
detail
music.
I was checking that they did very well with is making sure that the mom's right ear was gone or hidden.
Yes.
Yeah, they're consistent with that, but not the piece that peeled off before
Nah,
breakfast lunch.
I think with
That
the
was super glued back on though.
yeah,
Well, I mean, you see the lines.
with the level of like masking changes they made on her face, I would be amazed if they managed to keep that going because they changed like almost every scene with her. It was a different, you know,
It was just slowly getting worse.
yeah. So like if they had done that, I would have been really impressed. But I can kind of understand why that kind of detail got lost in the shuffle.
Let's see, funeral. Oh yeah,
It's
I
a
guess this is
wonderful
where.
vet.
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
the
yeah.
vet. Yeah, we got to talk about the vet.
I got a couple things to talk about actually. Yeah, so let's go with the vet. Crimson, you said
Oh, I was just
yeah.
bringing up what was missing, but
Yeah,
the vet
he's not a
he was
doctor.
pretty funny. Do you want the syringe or are you going to sniff?
This name.
It made me smirk. I love the whole prepared tragic backstory he immediately gave because he thought he was part of the deportation department or
Yeah,
whatever.
are you part of
Just the,
immigration?
My
yeah,
papers, I do not have them. I lost them.
he just immediately goes on this long, like, prepared speech of a tragic backstory. Yes, it's shoehorning, but I like to headcanon that he just gave that to any random person that walked into his lab. Makes it funnier.
It
Yeah.
seemed definitely like he was like quoting, like it was already memorized to just spit out at
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I think it was
did everyone spot Peter Jackson's cameo?
yes,
Uh,
I did.
I
I
got
did
it.
not.
Boy, he looks. The span of 8 years really did a number on him.
Yeah, he had no. To be fair, he doesn't have his beard.
No,
His hair is short, and he was eating a sandwich.
well, of course he's eating, but yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, that
he's
sandwich.
the
What?
yeah
come
Wow,
on.
he's the guy with the coroner in
the
the
embalming room.
embalming room.
No, yeah, like
Oh,
he actually worked that job in real life.
Oh, nice fact.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
Not a
Actually, he
fact.
worked at a
Reese was lied to.
newspaper.
Uh, Look, Sinister's head here. If he says a fact, I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But yes, I did spot that, especially with a very close up.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It's
hidden,
good.
but
I was keeping an eye out for it, but I was when he appeared, I'm like, God damn,
See,
he
you were
did not
expecting
age
like
well.
he looks young.
see, you were expecting like Albert Drury eating a carrot or something, and it was actually like a little bit of a part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looking or turning my head around. Where's the prancing pony?
he was actually a character. He got slapped around for doing his job poorly.
He had a line.
Yeah, he did have a line.
He didn't get
He
shot
was
with an arrow and just scream. I like the camera usage of the nurse's head being upside down, so the camera's upside down.
Yeah, they used that 2 or 3 times in it. I think it's good.
It wasn't
does anybody
overused,
does
and
anybody know
also
anything
wasn't
about
underused.
I
uh
got
you got a thing?
yeah, I do. I got a small thing. The nurse also clearly escaped the house when the mother broke out.
No.
Uh, so I was expecting like, okay, nurse is missing. She's gonna be gone, and she's the one good reason that the infection is spreading. And then we cut back to the house, and she's there for the like zombified breakfast. And I just like went, okay, guess not.
Yeah, Lionel found her.
Somehow.
It's
When
went for a
he
good route.
first injected her with the sedative, he didn't even press it down. Nothing went in. He
Yep.
just poked her in the eye, and then oh, she's out like
Out
that.
like a light.
And then when he injects his mom, there's no fluid in there.
No fluid in the vial.
I
In the
do
syringe. Yeah.
kind of on a funny note like that. I found it funny that when he came down the stairs into the basement to inject them, he actually squirted the syringe for the audience. I just chuckled a little bit at that.
You know, gotta make sure it's loaded.
Um,
Ugh.
yeah, the nurse had ample time to escape. The infection started. The world's ended. Next, this is pretty much all I'm saying.
Dark
I mean,
forces.
I don't know how this didn't just go everywhere in Skull Island. I don't know how the natives contained this.
Oh, they probably had an immunity, right?
Yeah, they're immune.
Yeah.
You
All
know,
right.
it's tough.
Or they're already zombies.
Yeah, yeah.
So the war paints for their hide all the
Yeah,
scars.
Yeah, hide all
hide all
the
the scar.
pus and the scars. Hey, could be.
Is nobody gonna talk about how his mom managed to find him while undead and covered in icky?
Well, Sinister, it sounds like you are.
And how?
I,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go on. That's probably the one thing the one thing that even when I was watching I was a little miffed by was that it seems so unlikely she would get all the way
A
there
good
and have no
mother
problem.
always knows where her child is.
Oh, how the trolley hits her to knock her through the front
No,
door.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
well,
That's amazing.
even before that, the fact that the mother is just pushing people aside instead of infecting other people.
Yes.
That yeah,
Dude,
that's something I've thought of. Is how much of I mean, how much does it have to be completely turned to a zombie, and how much like goal is there left in the head of like something to do?
Uh, I can't answer that question because the rules aren't really that clear.
Okay, I'm like, I know the movie
There
is
are no rules.
brain dead, and a zombie should have nothing, but the mom seems like to have her goals like always go towards Lionel.
it
No,
the
they're
only thing I can
inconsistent with it.
it might be a difference of like being like that she's like patient zero because she's the original infection, so it might have something to do with that and that you retain more of your basic instincts and then it gets less and less as it
she's
goes
the one
along.
that's being turned into the proto grave mind for the hive to form.
Yes,
That's probably why
that's
she's the only one who's able to speak.
yeah, even that's not until later, but yeah,
Uh,
it's unclear.
Okay, I was just curious on thoughts.
Oh yeah, no.
I find it funny that Lionel's mom also before the whole lunch scene starts is that she's begging Lionel not to turn her in.
Don't let them take me away.
Yeah. It's-
She's starting to lose her normal way of talking during that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
annual meeting, annual. But
Yeah,
then later she talks with more fluently when she's the big version.
Well, 'cause she's got annual stimulants.
At that point, the proto-grave lines, it's
yeah.
just what else can you do?
It mutated her brain to be able to adapt to the virus and infection. She's fine.
No, but the whole gag of her getting into uh, the shop is well worth the laws of physics that it breaks.
It makes no fucking sense. Still funny.
Yeah, hilarious. I guess they discharged her early.
Yeah, Lionel always having some way to cover it.
I
Just
don't know about
the
that.
one. I'm not gonna go that far, but the one line excuses he comes up with are hilarious because they
Yeah,
make no
like
sense.
uh, yeah, purely deranged ramblings of a madman, but love it all the same.
I liked when Lionel is down in the basement to give the sedatives, and he's in that very much oh, what's his name? Curtis, is it from Cat in the Hat outfit? Um, and and the mom's
What's the
hiding.
Like the
difference?
bread pads.
Yeah, and the mom's hiding in the shadows with the light. Very practically done. I like that. I like the use of shadows that they had in this film.
What's the difference between
Myself.
you and me? I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yeah, that's somewhat in that outfit as well. Not as dark, but yes.
Yeah. He's wearing wellies too.
And then Granny gave the protection necklace, which I don't fully understand what it really did as a
That was a question I was
mystical
going to have for
item.
everyone. Does the necklace do anything?
I
Yeah,
don't
it's a tool
know.
for him to carve out of I
Yeah.
guess, the rebirth
I don't know
of
if it's like a
Lionel.
placebo necklace. Mm. If you think it
Well,
will protect you, you'll be fine.
well,
Well, yeah, we as
the
humans
necklace
get power to things.
turns ethereally on its own, right? Towards the
Yes.
chest.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Okay.
Food is real.
Yeah, but it's away from his possession a couple times through this, and it makes it all
Everybody
right.
tries to get it. His intent to get it keeps it in power.
I just don't know the properties of this necklace.
We don't know.
You'll never know.
Drug.
They're arbitrary, just like everything else.
Okay, actually, I have a question. Was that a really bad German accent for the vet, or a really good one?
Uh,
Go with bad.
I feel like I need to know more German people to answer that correctly.
I mean, you know
It was
me.
passable. I'll say that.
It it's comedic. I don't think it's very good, but I think it's better that it's not good.
Yeah,
I
I
I think
know it was German.
I think
Yeah,
it's a terrible accent. It's clearly German, but it's adds to the goofiness that it's a bad accent. Like it's someone
yes,
putting it on.
exactly. So it works because it doesn't really work. That's what I'll it works because it's so silly. It's definitely somebody doing a German accent and making it really stereotypical. But
Did anyone else think the
they have ways of making it thought.
embalming machine looked like if Dr. Frankenstein tried to make a Wonka
Uh,
machine?
I was gonna ask because I think Ryder might be a little bit more an expert than the rest of us here. Is any of that possible with an embalming machine, or is that like entirely
From the 50s.
yeah from the
No,
I
1950s?
think
And
they
it's
how
not.
manually injected, didn't they?
That
yeah
is
it
not
was all gravity
real.
fed, right?
It is not real. It is definitely made for the movie, but it was funny.
But is that possible where like the body can start to like engorge or to that level, or is that purely
Oh,
Yes.
you mean you mean to like
well,
the
I mean, I was asking the machine firstly, but yeah, like
or
with
like
the
what
whole
like the eyes popping out? Is what you mean? Like
yeah, like the eyes popping
um
out, her chest getting really big, and is
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
it's
when
possible.
bodies decompose, they do expand and then contract because the gases are leaving the body.
yeah.
blowing outwards, but that's not what's going on in the
and
scene.
rigor mortis hardens your muscles too. So
Yeah, look, I've learned everything I need to know about embalming machines from the mortuary assistant. Okay.
I just love that he gets really. He looks really. Peter Jackson really should have done more little acting bits. I think.
he actually does a pretty like for the brief moment he's
Yeah,
here.
like
I
yeah,
actually
Well,
really liked him.
doesn't he go for the sandwich after the embalming
yeah,
starts coming out?
yeah. It's
Oh,
covered in green stuff if you look at
oh,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like it's when like all the green liquid's pouring out of the mother. He's reaches over to save his sandwich almost.
But it's already, and he takes a bite of it immediately, and it's already got green stuff on it. Adds to the flavor.
sure. Just like the pus in the custard.
Well, there's a reason why I'm saying it's coming out of his paycheck. There's a saying it coming out of his paycheck. He's fucked this up before.
Yeah, this is not his first rodeo. Oh man, Peter Jackson, what a legend.
I'll touch on something of the costume department.
Ooh.
At the funeral, Uncle Les is the only one um, at the funeral who's not in a dark jacket to make him stand out.
Well, I think it's less about him standing out and more the disrespect for the dead. He doesn't care about her.
He's there
Or
for
Because
the
probably for
that's
that
what
legend.
as well. Yeah,
that's what you do at funerals. You
Yeah,
wear black.
and he's not.
he's not. Well, he's got a black tie at least.
Yeah, but he's got a overall pretty bright outfit.
That
Yeah,
tie is as skinny as a straw wrapper.
it's pretty, and it's not even doesn't even go like doesn't even go halfway.
I
It's
He's
pretty.
he's a
I
big
think
guy.
so. He is a big guy, but still,
The
it's a
only thing that's
joke of
wrong
a
was the
tie.
child's tie. Okay,
He's also
so I'll give
pigeon-toed.
you that.
Pigeon toed.
Yeah, his legs like they like go make a pyramid like they make a triangle at the near the base, right? So like his legs as they go up, it's like a two triangles, pigeon toed.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh.
Yeah, because probably he was a big kid.
I also want to say
Big
that the uncle
boned.
is clearly a cartoon, but
Oh
it's
yeah, you know that there was definitely somebody like that in his life in Peter Jackson's life at some point that he made into this character. Like it's just so
I could believe
weird
that.
and cartoony.
Latin, eh?
Oh,
I
I,
did translate what Paquita says to him.
I
what
did
did
as
you
well.
what did you say?
She said, "Oh gosh, I can't. I'm
Just
gonna
Alright.
say the
butcher
The
Spanish."
translation.
Okay.
just say the translation. Yeah, you don't have to butcher
Oh,
it.
The writer, you got something on it?
well, no, I did the same thing. I wrote the Spanish and I wrote the.
Okay, maybe
Okay.
writer, you read the Spanish part, and then Sprinks will read the English part.
Okay, all right. ¿Sabes qué, tío? Que vete a la mija en pase que lapos.
You know what I tell you? Fuck off and leave me alone, you asshole.
That's good.
I think I screwed up the last word, but I think I got most
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
you got most of it.
You said
You
it
did
way
well.
better
I'm
than
watching
if
right
I
now.
attempted.
Yeah.
Taco.
Yeah, I do practice my Spanish occasionally, so I have a little more familiarity of how the words are supposed to be pronounced, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Crimson's third favorite character, the priest, is pretty good in
What I
this
hear
funeral.
is Crimson loves all these characters. I keep hearing
No,
That's what I'm hearing. Apparently,
everyone but
Bigger
Lionel.
says
That's what
Bigger
I'm
says
hearing.
the
Remember,
priest.
Crimson, we're not gaslighting you. We're lying to you. We're not putting the effort
Yeah,
in.
we're putting false information out there about you.
oh, lovely. Yeah, Priest is upset with Lionel because he's not here for his own mom's funeral. Yeah,
Do you think his hair was actually that white, or do you think that's a dye?
it's hard to say for
It's because it's Steve.
sure.
It's Steve Martin white. Like it's
Yeah, that's a
It
color
is.
palette.
I
You
would like
got
to point
a
out
little bit of
that
a Betty White, and then you got the Steve Martin White.
I would like to point out that once again that if the zombie can break through 6 feet of ground and break through the wood of a coffin, your neck ain't much.
That was a shallow grave. No,
Calibrate.
yeah, you pointed out earlier where they're just inconsistent with the strength.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fairly obvious. It's inconsistent. I do find it funny that she breaks out of the thing and starts immediately choking him out like she knows what he's trying to do?
Oh yeah, she's no dummy.
Yeah. And was his plan originally to dig her up her grave, inject her again, and then pour the
Are,
stuff back on?
are we in the
I
next act?
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah
we're
Sorry,
in
sorry.
yeah we got to finish off the funeral. Does anybody have any last things to talk about in the funeral?
Les makes a second pass at Kita, asking her for drinks,
I
and
That's where our
she
quote
doesn't
comes
go
in.
for it.
I
It's
don't
weird. I can't believe that she didn't go for that.
know what Uncle Les. What a dashing debonair.
Look, there is
Ryan, look how
there
popular he is.
look, people have done flirty work at funerals before. Like you can do that,
Yeah, wedding
but
crashers.
man, you have to balance your tones so much better than this.
I was
I
a
mean,
brother.
at least he chose somebody who would have very little connection to the dead person, so they'd have less grief. I guess, if anything, it's not good either way. But
Yeah.
My question,
uh,
because I can't really see it pictured in my head, is the layout of the funeral home passable?
could
Of
it actually exist in real life?
I'm like in my head, I don't see it fitting because it
Uh,
goes from the hallway that Lionel's in to
yeah.
then the embalming room, but the window in the embalming room goes to like the pew room, the congregation room,
Dude,
whatever.
well, now most of the time, I think now, but this is set in 1950, so I don't know. But
I think
uh,
I mean I could buy the embalming room being like underground. I don't remember there being windows to be honest, but I could be wrong.
yeah, I think
When
normally they're underground because they're supposed to be.
Well, it's when
You
They
know,
have the
Lionel
glass
and the
doors.
mom break through the window.
well,
Well, those are
she was in the
doors.
yeah, she was in the technically the viewing gallery
Oh,
area.
viewing. Okay, that's a different room.
Yeah.
That's where the coffin was.
Mhm. But yeah, traditionally, I think like embalming rooms and all that stuff, they're in the basement or the underground because technically it smells and it's not a good smell. So I think they try to keep it as separate from
Yeah, they want
the
to
main
keep
building.
all autopsies of Jane Doe's down below.
Given what we know of his mother later on in the film, I find it funny that their service is about motherhood.
Yes, it's very fitting.
A bit on the nose, but
Also,
yes.
yeah, I don't think this movie was ever going to be not on the
Oh
news.
no, it was not designed to not be.
They're going to shove this shit down your
They
throat.
they do not know the meaning of subtlety in this film, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
you know what? We'll go with it. Uh, one last thing that I have, the I don't know what it's the funeral director, the bald, guy who chastises Peter Jackson's, assistant.
Mhm.
He
The mortician.
dots his face with the like a sweat rag or whatever, but it's still got the green stuff on it, so there's green on his
Yeah,
forehead. I
yeah,
love
I did
that.
notice that.
Uh, yeah, I like
Out
the
for you.
priest. The priest is a very very hammy, very very like he could be a soap opera guy.
Be good.
I do feel like I recognized the priest from something,
I
but
He does look like he's from. I looked him up. I couldn't really find anything, so I think he just has one of those faces. But
like I know it's not him, but he reminds me of like somewhat of Elaine's boss from Seinfeld.
yeah,
But I know they're not the same. But
no, God, that would be pretty amazing if that was true. Um, we don't. Is nothing else?
I have nothing else for Act Two.
Okay,
I will be right back.
Ryder
right.
will
Should we
be
just go
back
into
as we
act
go into Act
three?
Three.
Act 3.
Okay, okay.
This goes from
Act
the
three.
funeral to when? Baby's Day Out.
This goes from the funeral to baby's day out. Yes,
Wow, I have very little on this act, but okay.
it's a yeah. This was a hard one to kind of separate out.
Right.
Uh,
Well, we got the cemetery walkers.
yeah,
Yeah, the punks,
the well the rockers, but yes,
the punk
basically.
holes.
Well, yeah, yes, the punkles.
And Void. Was that his name? Void?
Void, yes.
Yeah, interesting name. Uh,
His
very
name is totally
dehydrated.
Yeah.
very dehydrated.
Well, he
That
drinks
was
alcohol.
some
Oh,
very
is that
yellow pee.
that's the main zombie dude of the
Yeah,
punks? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't get his name.
I,
I
the one
just
his
that gets
his
ripped in
name
half.
his
Yeah.
name is definitely actually Lloyd, but he's going by Void because it sounds cool. I 100% believe that.
okay.
Headcanon.
Headcanon,
But
yeah,
yeah, they call him Void
yeah.
twice, I think. Once in the cemetery, and then once at the zombie dinner. Says
Mhm.
his name.
I am glad that Void calls them zombies,
Yeah, I wrote that down. That's pretty
I
rare.
and
because
zombies is the actual name in the film.
that pisses because that's one of my biggest pet peeves in any like
Any
zombie
zombie
thing is
film?
they
It's a
don't call
walker.
yeah
It's
yeah
a
they're
biter.
yeah I mean granted I like the the inventiveness of having to come up with new terms, but I'm just like, just call it a zombie. We all know what a zombie is. You know what a zombie is. Stop making this up in a world where zombies don't exist.
The
Like, just have,
undead. I
yeah.
don't even think they call them zombies in Shaun of the Dead. Do they?
I,
Um, no, I guess not. I don't
uh,
recall that. They don't really address them in that kind of
yeah,
fashion.
it's
Yeah,
just
I'm
kind of
trying
like,
to think
I guess the dead.
what do
yeah,
they call what media out there calls it zombie? It's very little.
very, very few.
What did World
Uh,
War Z? I mean, World War Zombie.
Runners,
Right?
but
Runners.
yeah,
Is that what they called
I
them?
think they called
yeah.
I think they called them zombies.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've watched it,
I'm gonna look up zombie
but we've
films
played the
that
game.
use zombie. Uh, I like the little sight gag of his mother's tombstone. She will live forevermore.
Or
Very,
in the
very
last act when the priest says, what was it, will be resurrected.
yes, resurrected.
Mhm.
Priest is good.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say we should probably stay away from the trees because we got Ryder's favorite part with
I
Yeah,
know,
priest.
yeah,
that's
we
why I
got.
went to the other act.
So
We can jump past this cemetery
Yeah, we can.
scene to, yeah, to the
it's a
the
pregnant
breakfast.
zombie.
What was it?
Is it,
Bre-
Oh, shoot. The uncle said something to Lionel, and Lionel replied in a way that the house smells like dead dog.
oh yeah, he was like, oh, it
the
smells.
reeks in here.
Yeah, a
Oh,
dog must have
crawled
crawled in
under
the
the
house
house
and
and
died.
died.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's pretty funny. To cover up that the house smells like dead dog.
Well, and he's not technically lying. I
No.
mean, he's stretching the truth a little bit, but
Yeah, what's left of the dog is under the house. Um, uh, yes, the pregnant zombie. More interesting rules to these zombies. They can mate.
9
They
months
have the
down to 9
facilities.
minutes.
Uh,
oh,
yeah.
so I just looked up the zombie thing.
Mhm.
In Shaun of the Dead, Ed says, "Any zombies out there?" And then Sean says, "Don't say that." And it's
Oh,
supposed to be
that's
a
right. They
gag
play
on
a
the
joke.
Oh,
yeah that you're not supposed to say the Z word.
That's right.
Hello, I'm back.
Ryder
Okay,
is back.
back. We were just talking about the breakfast scene. We can go back to the cemetery because that was your favorite thing that you wanted to talk about.
That is true. The priest has like Buffy the Vampire Slayer choreography. At least that's what impression I got. And
yeah.
Do you want to do the quote?
No,
sure.
which one?
Yeah, the big one. I'm sure it's the one
The
that's
devil is
most famous.
amongst us. Stand back, boy. This calls for divine intervention. I kick ass for the Lord. Not altogether like that, but
Yeah,
those are
not
his.
all together like that, but that is the
What a
gist.
character.
Yeah,
I know
very
what they were doing.
brief. um,
Stands
and then he dismembers a zombie down to look like the Black Knight from Monty Python.
With
Yeah,
his
he
He's
does.
just
feet.
with his feet.
Which
He's
also goes
just
into these zombies have no bones.
mhm.
Until
And
they have
also
a lot too many bones.
Yeah, until they have them.
um
I mean, even if they didn't have bones, it'd still take a lot to kick through
Meat.
appendages. Yeah, you wouldn't just be able to kick through a steak.
Yeah, because even like a saws, it takes like a hand saw. It would take you probably a couple
Well,
minutes
Crimson,
if
I
there was no
couldn't
bones.
because I don't have divine intervention.
You're right. He's
You
got
you you
God
failed
on
you
his
you
side.
you, you failed your role.
Yes, I failed my role in
Negative
that one.
one.
uh, I do. I'm just looking through my notes here. It's like I'm complaining about how the nurse is already spreading the virus because no one's she still got out. No one's dealt with him.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's
At,
okay.
at this point, I thought Custard Guy was infecting the
Yeah.
town.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
thought it was Custard Guy or nurse. Well, no, well, no, actually, at this point, I expected the nurse to be because we met Custard Guy at the funeral. He was just
yeah.
fine.
What was his name? Mr. Shoot, I wrote it down.
Matheson.
Matheson, yes. Mr. Matheson. Being that he was totally fine at the funeral, that told me that it can't be digested to spread.
we're assuming.
But if he came back as infected, then I would have a problem with it.
Thankfully, he didn't
Sure.
do that.
No, he doesn't come back again.
Thankfully, he never. The funeral was the last we see of him. Not even an after credit scene.
So he made it.
Yeah,
The guy will live to see another war.
until
Good on him.
Peter Jackson inevitably makes a sequel to this, and
Oh yeah, Braindead 2.
he honestly could. I would watch that. I'd be interested to see what they would do with that. Oh, I don't think he's talked about this movie in like the 30 years since it came out. I tried to find stuff on that and couldn't find anything.
Tries to tuck it away.
I don't know. He talks about Meet the Feebles and Bad Taste, but I think those have a little bit more of a, first time out kind of feature nostalgia probably than this one. This was also a box office bomb, so that might play into it a little bit.
Yeah, it was a couple mil and made
This is
quarter of a
most.
mil or something.
It was his most expensive feature at that point.
Yeah, I
I
think
think a
I read
few
it was
things
3 million budget.
yeah, 3 million rough, production wise, and then you never know with
I don't know if it's that much of a
advertising and
marketing. Yeah.
marketing.
But then again, is that only Braindead or is that Dead Alive and other distribution?
I mean, I'm sure they probably had to pay for cuts and things, or you know.
I did read
But,
this film is banned to be viewed in Germany, I think.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Probably from that one scene that
No, it has to do with
yeah,
gore, but
yeah, I figured. Well, the Nazi thing didn't help.
no. Um,
You're like being associated with that.
I paused the film when there was a baby.
I told you.
I went, nope, 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 no zombie baby.
Yes,
Oh
zombie
my
baby.
goodness.
Yes, zombie baby.
Now every time
What
I
do you
go
mean
to,
no zombie baby?
I was just, it was like wow, like it was starting to get over the top.
What, you can deal with them in Minecraft, but not here?
Those are
Yeah,
different. Those are different.
those are different.
But now every time I go to a Spirit Halloween, see the zombie baby section.
Well, I mean that's already off-putting though. I don't know why just having a version of it would make it more
I don't know.
off-putting.
I was just maybe it's
Like that's
because
already off-putting to me.
well, it's zombies having sex and then they have a child and then the
Yeah.
child caused havoc. It,
No, it's got massive panic, mass
It's fair.
hysteria.
also, the difference between puppeteering, stop motion, and then someone in a costume.
No,
I
that
love
I
the
think
costume ones.
the costume one is awesome. I want to know the guy or gal who was in that.
Yeah, they used the person several times and it's hilarious.
Because it's like there's another movie that has kind of like a baby thing or something in it that does that, and it looks so odd, and I love it.
It's not the 1999 Alice in Wonderland, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not that one. No, But there's a couple of things like that. I think it might be like an old Twilight Zone or something where they have a little guy and it's looks so weird.
In this
Also,
act, we
yeah. Oh,
go ahead.
you go. No, no, no.
Right. In this act, we get a framework of time passing. Uh, After the dinner, less or breakfast, lunch, whatever it is,
Mhm.
less enters and brings up that it's been weeks since the mom's died. So we know it's been weeks since the beginning of the movie.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Since the
There are.
funeral, probably.
Yeah, since the funeral. Well, we can
Presumably.
also we can
I mean,
hazard that.
the funeral was what, 2 or 3 days after the bite.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. So at
Um,
most, we're at 16 days.
yeah.
About.
Also, canonically, Uncle Les has a urinary infection. So,
Yeah, I'm glad they put that in there. It's an
Yeah,
important character trait.
yeah. It really
I,
helps to show like, oh, it hurts him even more when he gets hit in the balls now.
I might have fixed it honestly.
But do you
Uh,
think he got it because he's been kicked so many times?
Maybe.
maybe that. Uh, I never, there's like gross ways to say and take a shit or whatever, that I find I don't like, right? But I never thought I'd hear one that of urinating that I found disgusting. Taking a slash sounds gross.
It
I wouldn't
does.
even equate that to go and pee.
I know. That's
Taking
what
a
I was like.
slash.
Taking a slash.
I love all the meaning behind that word now because all he does later in the film is slash and cleave.
Yeah.
What a hero.
What a
Oh,
Less
what a
Less is a
what a
hero.
what a scene!
anti-hero.
What a scene! Oh, to me, that is the corniest scene in this whole film. But
What?
Whoa. Him
That's the
chopping them
corniest.
was the corniest thing?
yes, of squinting his arms up and down.
Oh, I loved that.
But you love corny things.
Oh,
It's perfect. It
It was
matches.
perfect.
It matches perfectly. That is within his character.
sure,
Wow.
sure, yeah.
And then Lionel has an
Fine.
interesting grieving process, as Les points out.
A stag
Which is,
films.
yeah, thinks he's just in there masturbating all the time.
To his dad's old collection that he knows of, but
Yeah. And no, it's even worse. He implies that he's also gotten off with his dad in the same room.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
also his brother-in-law because they're not present.
Yes.
Hey, when you have a brother-in-law, you'll know more of how this relationship kind of works. All
Oh,
right.
thank you, Sinister. Can't wait.
You can look
Wow.
you can look forward to an Uncle Les.
Jeez.
But no, it's yeah, it's sort of I don't know because that was it's so weird because in the 50s like a stag party you had like a stag film which is basically a porno, right? And you said it's like that's so odd now. Why would you want to be in a room with a bunch of guys all getting aroused? Like that's just weird.
To each their own.
I guess so.
It's also
I
weird
guess
that
if
he's
you're
in.
into that, no offense if you're into it, but
What did he have? It was the one with the donkey.
the donkey and the princess
The
or something.
chambermaid. Donkey
Chambermaid,
and the
that's yeah,
chambermaid.
donkey and the chunky and the chambermaid. I hope it was not a real donkey. Let me just point that out.
It was just a guy whose name was Donkey.
Oh, it
Donkey.
was Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Oh no no. No. Oh, great. Now we're gonna be sued for libel. Jesus Christ.
Allegedly,
No, we're in the United States. We're fine.
we can throw in allegedly, speculatively.
Speculatively, Eddie Murphy was in a stag film in 1957.
I did say
20
that.
years, like, well, yeah, 10 years before he was born.
Anyway,
Or no, he probably was.
weird just interaction of how comfortable I guess Uncle Les is around Lionel.
And how uncomfortable Lionel is around Uncle
Yeah,
Les.
and then Uncle Les
Well,
just
everyone's
get
uncomfortable around Les.
threatening.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
really
owed
subtle.
money in the property. He's so close to
Yeah, they talked
We
about it
don't,
Vera.
all the time. It was practically a guarantee.
Yeah.
we don't need to get lawyers involved in this. This is a personal matter.
This is a family matter.
Yeah.
Oh, how many times I've heard that? Gotten screwed on that one, huh?
My favorite thing in the well, uh,
I'm dying to know what this is.
well, I was gonna say I actually really like Lionel beating up the zombie child in the park.
Oh, we finished with this act? Going to baby's day out?
No, well, no. He fights him in this one too.
Oh, down in the basement.
Yeah, when after he's born, they
Bursting out of the
wrestle.
radio.
Yeah, the umbilical cord.
Ugh, disgusting.
I couldn't tell if it was wrapped around the nail or stabbed by the nail.
I think it was
It looked
I
wrapped
like
think
it
it
around.
was
was no,
stabbed.
yeah.
It looked stabbed. It was probably wrapped, realistically.
Also, I like the little sight gag before we talk about the baby. I like the little sight gag of him walking and Pekita seeing him, and the trolley goes by and he disappears, and then he's just behind the car.
Because the car drives off.
Yeah, the car drives off.
I did
That's
think
like
that was funny. Yeah.
He
that's
did
a
the Born Identity before Born.
well, it's I think it's like Mr.
Oh,
Eden
I
bit,
know what
isn't
you're
it?
talking about. The born identity. Oh,
More like the bored
it's
identity.
so silly. Such a serious
That
film
should
with a silly edit.
That's
Well,
in
it's
the
not
first
even an
one.
edit. It's him hiding behind the car. You could see his shoulders.
Yeah.
Is that in the first one?
I think so.
Okay.
They break up kind
Again,
of here.
somewhat.
For reals this time.
Yeah, for realsies. And Lionel gets punched. Pretty good punch too. Really quick, decisive by Richard.
Mhm.
Might have been a little quick to the draw on that. But
No, he's a
sure.
1950s man,
Yeah,
so this is
Lionel's now
all
a
like
freak.
I mean, it looked. I mean, I'll say this from when Richard arrived, the way that um, Paquita wanted to be left alone at that point, you
yeah.
could interpret that a specific way.
He's also
So
like disheveled, carrying a bottle that says tranquilizer on it.
It's true.
yeah, and also, yeah, he is the village freak now.
Yeah. You know what they're saying about you? You're funny in the head, which is the most they'll ever say in a 1950s world. It's as far as they'll go. You're funny in the head. Uh,
Which is also
now
accurate because he is funny in the head.
he is funny in that.
He's mental.
He is probably very very mentally ill. I've,
His mom fucked him up good.
yes, it's yeah. I think we can all assume he's not right in the head. Yeah, but now we got to talk about the baby.
It's been born.
It's
Yeah,
been born.
yeah.
It's
It's a
become a
miracle
born
baby.
identity.
It's a miracle, baby.
It is. I don't understand how it happened, and I don't want to.
But it's established it can happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this world, zombies can have babies, and they can happen over the course of a few days.
Does that make zombies their own species now? They can
Well,
reproduce on their own now. That
what was
now
that?
they're their own thing.
What was that other? What's that zombie movie with Dave Bautista? That Netflix one.
Oh,
Oh,
the, the, the
Army of the
blurry.
Dead or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Army of
Yeah,
Dead.
Army of the Dead. Doesn't that have a zombie baby?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that was not good either.
Thank God it got made.
No one saw or probably knows about the sequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel.
Yeah,
Which is the
I'm
best
happy it
idea to do
doesn't.
for a sequel, is do a prequel.
following the safe cracker.
Yeah, everybody's favorite character.
Yeah.
I've literally I've never seen it. I don't know anything.
No, well, you don't need to.
All I know is the controversy around the recast. That's about it.
It has zombie tiger. That was cool.
Yeah.
I do like Zombie Tiger.
So, writer, you being a scientist yourself, are the zombies a different species now because they can reproduce?
Technically, they would be an offshoot of humanity. I would consider them a different species of humans.
Interesting.
They're still under the category of humans, but they would just be a
Yeah.
different species.
Mutant,
They'd just be
perhaps.
like a
Subspecies.
Neanderthal type
Yeah.
things.
Well, that is all I have on Act 3.
You don't want to talk about like the umbilical cord or the
No,
We
radio?
I
kind of
could
did.
pass on that.
Okay, good. Oh yeah, you're right. We did.
Did
Yeah.
you have more to talk on it?
No,
Not really. No.
I had
Not really.
3
No.
lines in my notes for this act.
There's only like
So
3
that's what I have for the
scenes.
next act.
There's only 3
Um,
scenes in this act really, and they're both kind of, or all 3 of them are kind of small.
yeah, with the breakfast lunch thing, brunch.
It looked like they were. It
Oh,
was scrambled eggs, and then it was pudding. So I'm
yeah,
confused.
you know, mush.
Yeah,
I did like
whichever
how
goes down
they,
the throat easiest.
I guess yeah.
yeah, I like how they utilized the injuries that they had.
Yeah.
Me too.
I liked it Void
Yeah,
has the spoon go through the back of his neck.
I mean, it
yeah,
was
but then
discussed.
Vera steals it just like she did
Yeah, and he's a baby. He's
with
like,
the Mathesons.
Yeah,
"Ah,
he's just
my-"
complaining.
It was disgusting, but I do like the fact that like when Lionel spoon fed Nurse, you can see her enjoying the taste, even though her head's like
Oh,
in the position of
it's
being upside down.
it's so sickening.
It's
It's
really
so,
sickening, but I do
it's
like. I guess they have a sense of taste still.
bad taste.
They still have
It's
tongues.
uh, uh it's
That's all I got for you.
all right. We'll head over to the. I think this is the centerpiece of all the slapstick in this movie. Going to Act
4.
4,
Yeah.
Baby's
roughly,
Day Out
because
to
yeah,
Party Brawl, was it?
yeah, Baby's
Yes.
Day Out to Party Brawl. Uh, I don't know why he does this. I don't really understand it. I don't know why
Nor
his
do
thought
I.
is.
Thank
Because
you.
he's
Thank you. That was my
a
question.
weirdo.
Why is
I
this
have
scene in the
no
movie?
No reason.
Why is this
Yeah,
here?
for all the little slapstick gags,
Was it just to
physical
make the
comedy.
movie longer? Was it
I
so
don't
they got
know.
their money's worth of
This is the
the baby?
as funny as I find a lot of the moments in this scene. I don't think it needs to be in the movie. It,
It
Uh,
certainly doesn't have to be.
yeah.
it does not need to be in the movie, but I will say watching this scene at 1.25 speed made the comedy in the
Yes.
scene land so much more.
Yes, that's a writer's tip for anybody who wants to watch this on YouTube. 1.25 speed, and I do agree it makes a difference.
What I thought was wild was the baby was just on the sidewalk, I think, or on the grass, and a biker hit him.
Yeah, and the
Yeah, nothing
biker's
happened.
on a fucking tripped.
Oh yeah, it went flying.
It's an
Uh,
indestructible zombie baby.
Can you
Well, you
imagine that
can't have the
anywhere?
baby get. You can't.
look, have you seen the baby zombies in Minecraft? They're fucking menaces.
Well,
They are.
yeah, but I
Listen,
mean, I'm just saying in modern normal life, if you're biking and there's a child in front of you,
Oh, he saw the monstrosity. He just wanted to take it
yeah, I was
out.
like,
He was
that's an
trying, he
ugly
was trying to
baby.
do the world a favor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think he noticed it at all.
No, he didn't.
No, he
And the
didn't.
baby had its back to the bike.
The bike. Yeah, it's a.
Actually, it's weird because we pointed out in the cemetery where the limbs can break off quite easily.
Mhm.
This baby should have been pulverized with the
Okay,
beating
there's
it
a limit.
received.
There's a moral limit to gore. You can't have a baby gored. Okay, it's just you can't
No,
do it.
so
Not
Crimson,
today. Not in 1992.
Crimson, the difference in this is the infection of a regular human infects the bone structure to weaken it, but the new species being
Oh,
made is evolved where the bones aren't as much as decomposed as they are.
Right.
So the
Why are they
baby's the
really
evolved
decomposing?
version.
did everybody like the addition of the barbed wire around the baby?
I don't
It
Yeah.
know.
didn't seem to do anything, but I did like it.
See,
It
I
didn't do
think
anything, but it was just smart.
I think it would have been smarter if there was a scene of him fortifying the house over taking the baby out. Because then the whole
Yeah, 'cause
house just has
I mean,
fences
he's
and
outside
bars.
the door.
You kind of just cut
Yeah,
back to seeing all the house fortified, don't we? Yeah.
yeah.
No, he does fortify the house. It looks like he's ready for the zombie apocalypse, even though
Yeah.
he's hosting
from
it.
within the house.
He
Yeah,
he boarded up the front entryway doors. He put barbed wire on like the back door. He, yeah, he's fortified it, but we don't see it. Just appears, or it's just there.
yeah.
It's just there, man.
I did write down seeing someone punch a baby in a bag. Where have I seen that before?
Punch a
Yeah,
baby in a bag.
punch a baby.
Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what
you
you
have an
think
do.
it's
answer that you want? Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
yeah, it's a
answer.
Mandalorian. I feel like it's something else though as well.
And person of interest, a baby is in a bag, but it doesn't get
No, it
punched.
doesn't get punched.
In person interest, I believe there's two cats in
That's
Yeah, there's two
that's an
cats in
analogy
there.
for something else.
the bag. Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I do like when Lionel just beats the fuck out of the child and just hits it against the wall and starts. It's a monstrous
oh,
baby. It can take the punishment. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm a little amused
Also,
by
oh
this.
boy.
two moms from the 50s, totally okay with it.
Ah,
Well,
what are
it's
they
the
gonna do?
50s.
I
Yeah,
mean, they're
it's the
Yeah.
not going to
50s.
the
This is
police.
okay.
Ah,
It
where's the
shows
police in this?
Uncle Les was going to
The
call the
end.
police, ask for the sergeant. They
Uh,
exist.
he said he was gonna do it. We were not on the opposite end of that phone call, so we have no idea.
Oh, you think he just was talking to himself?
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
wasn't the excuse that Lionel gave was to mothers was hyperactive, eh?
Yeah. Hyperactive,
Well,
eh?
in that case, then, Sinister, there's at least firefighters.
Yeah. Well, it's not lawless. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're bringing up the fact that there could possibly be no cops or sheriffs.
No, no, no. I'm not. No, I was just saying in that scene, I don't know if he was actually talking to the cops or not because we don't
And
have
we
the
see him
opposite.
dial it.
Oh, trying to play a bluff on Lionel.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's probably cops. Whether he was actually calling the cops, I cannot confirm or deny. Point.
Then the duration of these tranquilizers are all over the place.
Oh yeah, they're not consistent at all.
Well, the vet could have been giving him different dosages, different strengths.
Well, he just took
strengths.
the whole bottle. He's doing the
Well,
doses.
you can because they have the whole thing
Oh,
of
it's the same bottle?
no, he has two different ones.
I thought it was two. Yeah, I'm
The
in agreement. I thought it was.
tranquilizer and the poison.
Well, yeah,
No, well, no, I thought he had a whole new tranquilizer bottle when Roger
yeah. When
punched him.
Richard
Richard.
punches him. Yeah, he's got he definitely has a new bottle.
Otherwise, I don't know why he'd just be out and about walking around with his standard bottle.
That's his weekly grocery run that includes a tranquilizer bottle.
Yeah, that's what I saw it as. Unless there's a
I
deleted
mean,
scene somewhere of him
even
taking
if
the
that's the case,
bottle
he's
to go.
still doing his own doses.
Yes.
Well, and you can gradually get you know, it becomes less and less as you keep upping the dosage. So,
Oh, you
and we
think
don't
the
know the
zombies are becoming a little more immune every time they're used?
I don't know. Maybe that's the only thing that I could pretty much that's like that's the only realistic thing I could have that would make that make sense. But even that, I'm not 100% sure on. They could also just be like gradually becoming less and less conscious, so they have less and less of a you know thing to drink. I don't know.
Could be.
Who knows? Who knows? Not I. I didn't write this
What
film.
I know is they went with the comedic, funny stepping on a rake gag.
Hey, if it works, it works. It worked in
Yeah.
1933. It'll work in it'll work in
It's a classic,
1992.
what can you say?
It is a classic.
A rake is always funny.
And I guess that there's slight variation. He did do it backwards. It wasn't hit in the face.
Speaking of, Les is going to turn him in to the cops. We've touched on that. Because he finds
Mhm.
the bodies downstairs. He broke into the house.
It's really to murder Lionel to get the money, but
No, you don't break in the house. You just enter. Doors
Yeah,
unlocked.
you're right.
Yeah. So
I'm really
I
lucky
guess
that
it
they were
was.
tranquilized for the entire duration of.
That's why I
being-
brought up the inconsistency in duration.
Yeah, yeah. It's very convenient that they're quote unquote dead while the
Mhm.
entire time the uncle's there.
Hey, you know,
They're not dead. They're sleeping.
sleeping. He knows it.
Uncle Les doesn't. He thinks
Uncle
he's
Les.
just collecting dead bodies downstairs.
Yeah,
And he's
but
doing some kinky shit as he The point
kinky
too.
shit. I don't know what kind of kinky shit you're into. Um, and now Les has like cold sores. He's got like herpes.
He
Does
does.
he?
He does. Yeah, you look at his face. He's got like little marks on it on the sides of his mouth.
In in another C version of remake of the story Dune, I think he'd be a good member of House Harkonnen.
Yes, I agree.
I do like the a bit on the nose here, a bit sinister lighting of Uncle Les figuring out what's in the basement.
It's good. It's
And
solid
he's caught him.
character development.
When Lionel chucks the baby down the stairs, that was pretty humorous. Not
I
much
think we
to it.
all
I
yeah,
just, I mean, this baby
hammered
getting beat up is funny.
that.
You can cut that out.
No, those
Anyone
sound
who
bites are
wants
gonna
it.
No,
circle the
keep that in.
internet.
Crimson, from now on, remember to say zombie baby.
Eh,
Zombie baby.
Oh, okay.
it's a new
Yeah, I'm
species.
giving a
It
suggestion.
is. Your suggestion is warranted, but
Zombo erectus. Yeah.
Zombo
Zombo.
erectus.
Okay. Is that your fourth favorite character?
Yeah. Have you guys listed all 10 of my favorite characters yet?
No, we're at
I'm
No,
we're
waiting.
at 4.
I mean, you
I'm not.
also
I'm sorry. I'm not intelligent enough to comprehend your list. I
Oh,
can.
yeah.
A mere
Wow.
mortal such
It's
as
on a
I.
different level.
Yes,
uh,
a mere mortal such as I can never guess.
it's dictated both by what point they're introduced and then also how unfunny they are.
I mean, my friends are Peto's guy. Where's he ranked on my
Uh,
list?
yeah, hopefully pretty low. Hopefully he's not even on that list. That guy was not in the original version that I watched before this one. I can tell you that he did not have a part.
So it's cut out of
Yeah,
the
I can see
American.
why that wouldn't fly in some places.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's not even really funny. I don't.
Do you?
It's
Hey,
not
hold on. Do you legitimately think it's commentary on Hollywood scandals? From Peter
because he's
Jackson.
the guy, because he's the
Well,
filmmaker, so he's filming stuff. So I don't know. It's weird because it's so kind of I don't.
Is it
It's so
supposed to be a joke?
I
I think it's supposed to be seen as humorous.
yeah, it's supposed to be. I don't know if it. I mean, I didn't find it very funny, but
The second time he said it, I kind of thought it was a
with
little
the
funny.
Nabokov or
Right before he got killed.
oh that. Well, I mean, yeah, that was kind of funny.
The first time it's brought up, whatever.
I
It,
mean,
the first,
they're doing that so we cheer his death. That's right.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess that does work. But he's just like, yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. Um, it is just weird though. I don't really get it, but there is one funny moment out of it, I guess. I
What
don't know if
I
it
don't get
mourns the whole
is
character, but
is how Void, zombie Void, uh, gets untied and goes up the stairs to the door
he
we
was
had
rocking.
opened.
Imagination.
He was rocking.
Convenience.
What I
Or would
don't
that
get
be
is how Uncle
contrivance?
Les knows all these people
um,
for party.
I would go with contrivance because the entire plot revolves around him escaping.
uh,
Yeah.
Crimson.
Mhm.
At some point, you know what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to create our character, Captain Convenience.
Oh.
Oh. Um,
Yes, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
was the
X Files.
was the baby
Captain
tied
Convenience.
up at that point, or was he loose?
No, he's tied up.
He was
Yeah,
tied up. Okay.
Yeah, the baby's been tied up. I think
they're all
for
tied up down there.
yeah, they're all they
Yeah,
all tie up down
the
there.
show, the movie makes a point of showing them that Lionel has tied them all to the chair before and then as soon as he leaves, Uncle Fess has apparently invited everyone over to party. Pretty
Yeah,
much what it transitions to.
Well, it's his house now.
yeah.
Paperwork isn't done yet.
Paperwork hasn't covered yet. Yeah, that's true,
Yeah.
but
Um.
still stands.
I like that Uncle Fest gets angry at him after so Uncle Fest makes him cook the food, but he also tells him to go get rid of the bodies.
Wants him to do both.
I'm like,
Just more
Well, you can do
chores.
both. Cut up the bodies, you know, cook them, boil them a little bit, kill two birds, one stone.
Hannibal Lecter style. Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, yeah. Disgusting. Um, I. How did you guys feel about the poison reveal?
The reveal?
Well, of
The
what it actually was, because it's
like the poison
poison.
being
The
like
animal
adrenaline
stimulant.
thing.
Yes.
It's a
Funny.
little. It's funny. Still dumb.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't read it.
Yeah.
Well, you read if it says poison on it, there's no
It's
way
Well,
it's not going to be.
he bought it.
it's a
I
This
real
guess
wouldn't have been the
yeah.
first time he looked
it's
at
the
it.
real Emperor's New Groove, like poison vial llama. Like
It's also
Llama.
we have to consider that at some point he did contemplate killing them all, which is why he bought the poison in the first place. Otherwise, it's just really lucky that he has it there at
Oh yeah,
all.
and he seems okay killing them later, other than the mom.
Well, he had to get it. You know, he has principles.
That was one of my problems. Was I understood why he kept the mom around, but everybody else, I don't know why he did. Especially Void. Void was a really weird one to keep around because he had no connection to Void
I
whatsoever.
think he's just in
I
the
think
state of he's hiding one, just hide them all.
Well, and you also got like
the main reason I think he's hiding them is because like it'd be very obvious if one of these rotten corpses was walking around, and even if it was mutilated.
And
yeah,
he
one
feels like it's
so
his
I mean,
responsibility.
just
Yeah,
burning it.
he could
Well,
feel a sense of responsibility.
then
Yeah.
again, once he kills one, he's a murderer, or could be seen as one. I mean, to
I mean,
himself.
if someone goes to that, if the police go to the house and find the bodies down there, he's a murderer anyways.
Well, true.
You
No,
gotta remember, like,
he Lionel doesn't see himself as one.
this is one of the rare times of Your Honor, my client is crazy actually works because he is. Like, he's not sane in the head.
yeah, he's just sane enough.
But he gets the
So
girl at the end.
I agree with you. He's not a rational choice at all to keep Void.
Well, Crimson, I don't think Bakita's
Still works.
100% right in the head either.
I agree.
Simply also for the fact that she's been putting up with, was it,
Remember, her dog
not
died.
Rod,
She
Richard?
immediately helped.
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah,
But
she's
he
been
only
walking
talks
around
about
with
football.
Richard for a good 6 hours now, talking about sports.
Yeah.
I did the goalie kick.
No,
Got 10 points.
I think those are at different days. And the only
No, she's
reason I
wearing the
think
same outfit.
is she? I thought it was a
Yeah,
different outfit. I know it's the same
She
color.
she is in the same outfit. Yes.
Okay.
It's baby's day out and the party are all the same day.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, I thought she was wearing something different, but I knew the color was the same. So
No, she's been walking around all that time, just listening to sports. And I think it's maybe she thinks that he's the one romance, so she
She
like
will
can't
learn
leave
to
him.
love him.
But then as
She will
soon as
learn
they
to love.
walk by Lionel's house, she like leaves him.
I mean,
I
I
don't
would
think
have
she
left
thought
too
Richard was
I
the
would be
one.
bored of all the sports talk too. So
Yeah, that guy
I think I'm
was
the only person
straight A
here bringing it
douchebag.
up.
No,
Even though he did
Crimson
do
likes
one nice
sports.
thing.
I played sports.
And
He
Crimson is a
he likes
footbally.
not being able to play Madden very well, from what I hear. But
I mean, the game just doesn't like me.
Anywho,
I don't like it back.
so the animal stimulant gives super zombies, which can be
Super
distinguished by
zombies.
black eyes, solid
Black eyes and light emanating from the holes that they come out of.
Yes.
Which they dug those holes pretty quickly. I'm gonna say
in the
very
basement, at all
yeah
places too.
yeah.
And
Must have-
then
it was unfinished.
there's a dolly zoom. Classic Spielberg Jaws dolly zoom.
I'm trying to remember the zoom
There's
you're
a
pointing at.
dolly zoom.
It's on Lionel when he's looking at the super zombies.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, when he realizes, oh fuck.
Yeah.
That is a really hard camera trick to pull off.
You have to pace it very well.
You have to yeah. I've only ever seen like from a bunch of student films. I think I've only ever seen one person be able to do it halfway decent.
Oh, okay. You mean from student films?
Yeah, student films.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, you think Jaws wasn't right, or
No, no, no. Jaws did it really, really well. That was like the best. That was the That's the industry standard. Is the Jaws one. But yeah, I've seen a bunch of people attempt it, and some of them do okay. Some of them it doesn't work.
I
But
think they do it
yeah,
in The Mask too,
they
when
do it in the
Cameron
mask. Yeah,
Diaz gets introduced.
yeah.
By the way,
It's a
this might just be
good.
me, but I think
Go
the
on.
use of green light in the basement when Bikita like figures everything out with the green light in the background, with the blue light and the yellows being on the bodies, I think that was inspired by Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looked
I
very
like that.
much like the Beetlejuice coloring of lighting.
Yeah, there's probably some influence there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a direct reference.
I want to read my notes verbatim real quickly for you guys for the
Oh,
basement scene.
oh, please.
So Lionel breaks down, doesn't know how to stop it, and my note immediately afterwards is fucking cremation wood, my guy. And then I
Yeah,
look, oh look, he's trying to act. That's cute.
I don't know how to stop it.
That can
It's
go on
rotting.
any line of my notes with Lionel in it.
Yeah, he just tried a little harder in this scene to act.
And
Didn't
he
work, but you know.
kisses his
Uh,
mom.
yeah,
Yeah, she was wet.
I'm
It's
more okay with
touching,
that.
but ooh.
I'm more okay with that, and it's his mom. He could stomach it to try and pay respectful. But I do like that eventually, it does kind of break him down a little bit when he realizes he needs to destroy them or kill them. Because he's like, I can't kill my mom. It's very sad.
Oh, I can't kill me,
Even,
mom.
even if it's basic, I still like it.
Uh,
I can't kill my mom. If only there was a chest with a photo in there that would make me hate her.
He-
Oh, wait.
does
I
anyone
was just
have
been
anything else?
lied to
Oh,
and manipulated this whole time. So,
yeah. We have the
let's
party
see.
brawl coming up. Is there anything you want to touch on before we get there?
No, that's everything I have for Act 4.
All right, we are in the final stretches. This is quite possibly uh the goriest about 20-30 minutes on film, I think. This is
That you've
It's very
experienced.
densely packed.
there's probably a couple others that I haven't seen, but this is
Going for the gold, I'll give it
It's
that.
pretty
yeah,
nonstop gore, yeah.
yeah, it really there's blood in every single
It's
second. I
it's
mean, there's
ridiculous.
it's pretty amazing. Uh Probably it has probably one of my favorite gore scenes just because it it just looks so I don't think I'd ever seen it before of the guy getting his lower torso just apart and it's just like skeleton bones.
Oh, yeah, adjust the legs.
Yeah, he's getting pulled through the dinner
Yeah.
waiter or
It
dumb waiter thing.
reminded me of spoiler for you, writer. So apologies.
Roger, Roger.
But in Resident Evil 2 remake, there's a police officer, Elliot Edward, who pretty
Yes,
much
yes.
gets eaten waist down like that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Uh
No, I don't think it's a spoiler. I think I played through that.
Yeah, that's at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's at the beginning,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Just in case. Just in
Yeah.
case. But yes.
That's
I
the
will,
only other version, but even that, he just like his lower torso just gets taken off. They don't like leave any bones. Right?
I know it's for comedic effect, but I'll point it out regardless. He had no muscles left to move his legs, but they were still
Oh,
moving. Just throwing it
he's
out
a
there.
zombie now.
Bones still need muscles to move, unless they're magic bones.
Sound
Magic
waves
bone.
of the screams.
They're also not liquid bones like we thought they do now.
The
We
room
already
was drafty.
established that a guy got his whole rib cage taken out. Okay, there's bones now, right? Bones are a thing.
Being maybe he wasn't moving the bone. Was he moving the joints or just overall? Because his stomach muscles and like upper torso muscles could be moving the bones
The legs were extending
by
and
shifting.
not extending. Yeah.
Well, in that case,
I'm not even gonna retort to that one.
Wasn't going to expect you to.
Yeah, not even gonna do that. I'm not gonna play your silly game.
was the I'm gonna guess Evil Dead referenced, but
Mhm.
in the kitchen there was a severed hand. I believe the kitchen
Yeah, that's a
and the severed hand continues to move.
yeah, that's
It's a
if
two-part reference.
It
if
is.
that's yeah. Yeah.
Because the hand's going through the door and grabbing his face in of itself is a reference. And then the
Three-part
hand is
reference.
also a reference.
Three-part reference. You're forgetting Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a
Ha
moving
ha.
severed hand in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. On the ship at the end with the
Oh,
Got
swan
skeleton
dad.
hand. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking also Adam's family with Thing.
Yeah, that was the first part. Uh, but yeah, it's a quite disgusting.
And instead of a chainsaw, we get some other machinery getting used to
Listen,
mow
that's fair.
down.
I'm glad they were inventive in that form because that is that's I've never I don't think I've ever seen a lawnmower be used.
I don't. I've only seen it once, and it was in theaters. But I don't know if they used a lawnmower in Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, they might have.
They went to a hardware store to get their equipment to attack the zombies, but I don't remember what their weapons were.
They might have.
But a lawnmower
So,
might be, or a weed whacker. That's what
either
it
way,
reminded me of.
Yeah, I liked the lawnmower. I will say though, he's very strong for how long he held that up.
yeah. I mean, there's some
Well, didn't he have
uh
like a string
He
or
knows his
something
push-ups.
around?
yeah. I had like
He had
a
a strap, but
Yeah.
but it
he
still would have
was
been
still
really heavy.
holding it. Yeah.
And probably wouldn't be as effective as it is in this, but still
No.
it works.
Not at all.
No, it works though. It's cool. Its coolness factor overrides the fact that in practice it would be not that useful.
Also, with this brawl, the brawl showed me something that I thought was that the necklace only protects Lionel from the super zombies and not from standard ones being made.
Why'd you say that?
Because the standard ones are going in for like a kill or a bite, as for the other ones are just trying to choke him or punch him. The super ones. But it's only towards Lionel. The only
I think
difference
what
I
he's
could
saying
see
is
for
that
Lionel and everyone else is because of the necklace.
I think what he's saying is the super
I think
zombies are the only
it's
ones not going for like the kill.
Yeah.
I think it's less the necklace, and it's just that they didn't want to kill off the main character. Because
Two
there's
things
so
can
many
be
times in
true.
this where he should have died, but didn't.
Well, I'm also thinking the reason why earlier on that, before they were super zombies aren't attacking Lionel is just because they're sedated all the time.
I mean, they never try. I mean, at dinner, they're not sedated. They don't even try to kill him there.
Uh,
I keep saying dinner.
dinner. I like the other like gore kill that I like is the lady getting her face punched through from
Oh, the
That was
hand
good.
through the back of them
Yeah,
and through the
dude,
mouth.
I didn't expect it when it happened, and I was it was so good.
It was a really nice cut from
Yeah,
Yeah, they did that
actress
twice.
to
On that scene, her arm quickly covers the screen so they could switch out the person.
hmm
And
You
they
can
did that
definitely
with the
tell when they switched over
nurse
to
as
mannequins a
well.
few
yeah, they did
times.
with it. Yeah,
The mother got turned into a mannequin when she fell down the stairs with Lionel at some point too.
yeah, that one was a little bit more obvious than,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's good. That was a really surprising one.
I like the lighting that they use of the one that gets her head slammed through the light bulb and the
I think that's
kitchen's
the same
just
one.
oh, that's the same lady?
Yeah, that's the same lady.
Oh, well, I like still that the kitchen's dark enough that the lighting actually has an effect on Paquita and the friend,
And
Um,
and it's not
the
just like
light late
pitch black.
the light lady turned into low pan.
oh, come on, man.
What?
Come on.
Picture of a little China. Any fans out there?
Oh,
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
Here I thought she just turned into a headlight or a headlamp.
Uh, if we want to talk about
a headlight. Ha ha ha.
unnecessary gruesomeness, uh, less pulling out the Reverend's teeth.
I what was the
Yeah,
point? Was it
there
just a
wasn't.
torture?
I,
I
the
think
only
that was
thing,
their
the
attempt
only thing
to
I
Actually,
could,
actually,
or
actually, here's the thing. I actually think that was a good idea because he's taking out the teeth so he can't bite him, so he
that
can't
was
get
my
infected.
that was the only thing I rationalized it with.
Yeah,
But I
there's
don't
some
think.
sense to
I
that.
mean,
I
yeah,
just
but
like
I
it would
don't think
take
that
a
was his
while.
point.
no,
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
don't.
so.
Yeah, yeah. Like, because it would be like a Michonne from Walking Dead. She took the jaws off the zombie, so
Her
they.
her
Yeah.
brothers.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's just a lot of people don't like teeth getting removed visually. They have nightmares
Yeah.
of
So
that.
it's a good
I think it's just another branch of trying to get
shock
the
factor.
audience. Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's less practical and less and more just more avenues of disgust for the audience.
Yeah.
something I had a
Yes.
little question over is why did Paquita and the friend leave the cupboard?
They had to fortify.
It got overrun.
Well, we had to get more
We had to,
scenes.
I had to
we
get more. Okay,
had to get it more. Uh, I was gonna say that there was a what did they call it?
zombies.
Well, no, well, yeah, no. I was gonna say that there was a mistake where the bag that she was stabbing was changed out, but no, it was just underneath a different bag.
Oh, the
There's
bag of tomatoes, or whatever
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah,
yeah. There
Don't,
there's a
was,
very
please
there's a
don't kill
very
me.
there's a very weird moment where intestines like line up to look at themselves in the mirror, but
yeah, I
intestines don't
love
have
that.
eyes,
That's amazing.
so how can they fucking know what they look like?
that intestine monster reminds me of a movie that has been pitched to me from Crimson of the teenage. What was it? Teenage placenta.
The thingy.
The thingy.
The thingy,
Yeah, life
teenage.
as a living teenage placenta. Along those lines. Yeah,
No eyes
that
on that
reminds
thing.
me and probably Sinister of something else.
Yes, because yeah, it's
um, but I agree. It doesn't have eyes. Shouldn't see itself.
no.
I don't know why it exists anyways.
The gag is worth the breaking of any rules and logic in that one. I like it. It's so good. It justifies its.
I don't like how inconsistent they are with body parts in this. There's a lot where they're just lying around, but there's a few instances where they can actually still move,
Welcome to
like
horror
the
film.
hand or the legs, the intestines.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I think a lot of the times it just they sacrifice whatever rules could exist for the sake of gags, and I think 75% of the time it's worth it. But there's like 25% where it kind of ruins it a little bit or a lot, depending. I'm being generous a little bit. I'm not being generous a lot.
There's some bits where zombies just explode.
Oh, I love
Like
it.
When
there,
it lands on
Love
the
it.
there's
floor.
the one that falls from the balcony and erupts, and then there's what was it? Lionel's trying to get. He's getting pulled up into the ceiling from the cord, and when he drops, he hits the head of another one that just explodes
Yep.
on
I
Yeah,
impact.
I
Props to Lana, by the
wonder.
way. It doesn't skip app day because he curled up to bite that cord.
Yeah. Uh, I am almost certain that there's like every possible death in this movie. Just about. There's probably every practical effect that you could make for a death is probably in this movie somewhere.
No one gets
I
boiled
did
by acid.
I did
Okay.
think
Never mind.
I did think it was funny that, or actually very smart that Paquita just started blending all the limbs so they could stop
I
moving. It's
I
actually pretty
was
spectacular.
I at first I didn't understand what was going on, and then I figured that out. Okay, that's there's some brilliance in that. That blender would be pretty well done in after just like a few things though.
Oh yeah, no, it would be a dull piece of trash by after the fifth one. But you know what? Maybe we're just buying the wrong brand.
Yeah, maybe we need
Yeah, it's a
Things
Ninja before they
things
were
were
made.
we
built
need
differently in the 50s.
yeah, and especially in New Zealand.
They're oil powered, diesel.
I
Uh,
I don't understand why they help less because he's I
and he's a competent fighter. I
I
don't
get
think they
that's the
saw him
only thing.
actually fight anything, so that wouldn't really
Yeah,
stand.
like
But
so far
I mean, more people
he's
to help is better than less people to help.
yeah. I guess I guess.
Now, I might who knows if I'm alone here on this, but I think
Let's find out.
groovy is a better line than party's over.
Oh yeah, they didn't even do the
100%.
cool zoom.
I mean, they can't get too on the nose with that.
No.
They even have a
They get,
Henrietta in this.
yeah, but within the realms of copyright-free infringement.
Yeah,
And
But you're
it's
correct.
lucky the mower had enough fuel,
I'm.
unless he
I
filled it
mean, it
before
wasn't
using
running
it.
that long.
It was about I don't know how I never used a gas-powered mower, so I don't know how long those can go for if
I think
you
it lasts
I mean,
for a
how long
bit.
was that? Like 10 minutes
10
yeah,
minutes and then you
or
had to
less?
restart it again.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's totally fine. Um, I think its viability as a weapon is more in question than whether or not it would have run out of gas.
Yes, but as we've already
Um,
established, it's cool enough that the logic it breaks is fine.
yeah, it does at one point stop making sound, even though it's on.
uh, yes, it's yeah.
I think it's when the dude's
Uh,
twirling
I
on top.
think
But wait,
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that guy was just getting sick of making a freaking lawnmower noises.
yeah. Also, pretty
Uh,
funny of was it Lionel running on the blood? Very Scooby Doo
Oh, that's
moment.
it.
but
Uh,
yeah, very
Oh,
cartoony.
yep.
very very Buster Keaton.
Yeah. I thought
Like
that was
Buster
kind of
Keaton had a
funny.
lot of blood and but missed opportunity really.
Oh, I'd love to see an edit of this whole kind of like just fight scene or whatever with the Scooby Doo Hanna Barbera like chasing music.
Crimson can get working on that.
Oh, sweet, Crimson.
Yeah, let me get my editing software out.
Uh, it's pretty freaking gory. I know I already said that, but man, is it
Well, yeah, it's classified historically as one of the Gore's film, right?
yeah, it's
Isn't that
a
a fact for it? Or
yeah, that is it's I think there was like 7 or 10 films and this was in there that were considered the goriest of all time. I don't remember what the other ones were.
now, Gore
I don't even think Evil Dead was in there, which
does
is
Gore only account for bodily fluid
uh
or blood?
Opposed
yes.
to
Okay,
what?
like the balming, the green liquid is that. Does that count as gore to
I
add
mean
to
that
it
is
or no?
gory,
I
yeah.
think the eyes popping
I
out
mean,
would probably count as gore.
yeah, it's bodily stuff, right?
Okay,
It's not.
I'm
Yeah, it's
curious what
bodily,
aspects in film, or even this film, for example, would not account to adding as classified as gore.
well, I think like okay, like a war movie, right? Would have a lot of gore in it, but
Like,
like
is
if you
choking
see a
on
guy
tear
just
gas count or no?
No,
I
that's
think
if
there
someone
has
died.
to be fluid, there has to be
All
some
right, coughing up
dismemberment or
blood
something.
counts,
There
Yeah,
has to be a visual to it. Someone
yeah,
choking on gas, there's not really a visual too much to it.
but blood coming out of their eyes.
Yeah,
yeah,
then you got something.
Okay. Does it count as gore at the beginning of this film when the guy's getting hacked and no blood's coming out
yeah, yeah, because it's
because it's
It
dismemberment?
could have been way worse. But yeah, I think that still counts.
Okay.
All subjective though, because I don't really know the rules of
I mean
of
you just make it
this
up
kind
as
of
you go
film.
along.
Yeah.
I mean, is the vet drooling count as a gore?
No, because it's more towards like disgust than gore.
Yeah. So gore is pretty much specifically bodily, harm or bodily fluids and whatnot. It's
Okay, that's why I brought up the vet because that drool is a bodily fluid.
that's gross more than it's gore. I think gore it has to be there has to be a harm involved with it in order for I think it to be technically gore.
Okay, pain receptor
Yeah, like
has to be
if
made,
you have a clip of someone peeing, I wouldn't call that gore.
I
but
mean,
a clip of
it would be
someone,
gross.
but a clip
Yeah.
of someone peeing blood.
The definition of gore is blood that has been shed, typically
Yeah.
as a result of violence.
So blood.
So if like somebody like pops a pimple or something and there's no blood and it's just like pus, would that still be gory or would that?
Based
So it
off the
has.
definition Ryder gave, no, but I would.
That's
I
why I
So
would
it
wanted
count
to
it
has.
as
embalm it.
gore, but I'm just looking at the definition of it on Google, and that's the
Mhm.
first definition. Is just it's blood that has been shed.
Okay. So
Hey, audience,
blood
hope you're
has to
not
be
eating
involved.
anything right now.
Yeah.
Hope you're not
Well,
like listening while having a meal.
this is a good dinner party movie. That's all I'm gonna
Trust
say.
me, I need to finish my sandwich. Ah,
Your green covered sandwich from the
Yeah,
embalming fluid.
it's got some Nickelodeon slime on it.
Yeah, the Nickelodeon slime. Got some tea. Uh,
I think it's humorous. Going off the score here, I think it's humorous that the uncle thinks he knows everything about zombies because he's read the comics.
hey,
it is kind of funny. Yeah,
yeah. I think this
I
is
Uh,
mean, he's
probably
right. She'll eventually turn, but
Well,
you
the
I
know,
think
Creep Show,
at the time of
was that
'57.
50s stuff?
yeah. Creep Show would have been fishes.
What about Tales of the Crypt? That's later, right?
That's 60s, I think. 60s, 70s.
we have to remember
Creep
the
Show.
Nazi zombie incident already happened.
Well, is
And
that publicly known?
uh, there was a movie called I Walk with a Zombie. That was the 30s, I think, 30s or 40s. Uh,
Night of the Living Dead. Or
that was 60s.
That was
that was
60.
60s.
That was late
Yeah,
60s.
Oh,
yeah.
that was 50s.
You just think that because it was black and white.
No, I thought it was.
Oh,
I'm just trying to think like knowledge of zombies in public, how in general
there
public,
would
how
have been. Yeah, I mean, zombies existed. Right? There would have been. I don't know if there was comic books. I think that's just like a funny little thing for him to say. I don't know how realistic
well,
that is,
yeah,
but
saying comics over. I saw it in the moving pictures. Like,
yeah, moving pictures as Les is want to do. Also, I'm almost 100% certain that a lot of the blood when he's doing this whole lawnmower thing, it's like tomato juice or something. It's definitely not the usual
No, it's not super
oh, it's
convincing
not
fake blood.
thick enough. No,
no, it's definitely like tomato juice that's been like made,
Blended.
more liquidy because it's not
Oh,
that thick, but it's
yeah, it's not dripping anywhere. It's just
no. Well, it's also not dark enough. It's like almost like a light pink. It's not dark enough
it's like
for
if you're
most
at a
of it.
water park with red water.
Yeah,
Just
like a yeah,
a
exactly.
water park.
Oh, Halloween
it's like
water
War of
park.
the
Everything's
Worlds.
red. That would be amazing.
That'd be terrifying.
That would be, but it would be amazing.
I don't know what the
The
Uh,
lazy
War of the
people
Worlds
look like.
theme park would be fun. Just getting yanked up on rides and stuff.
yeah, so much fun. Yeah, I can
Eh,
only imagine.
Yeah, I think it's called Bloodfest or something.
swim in the river of bodies. That's
A
kind of
horror theme
Oh,
park.
yeah, like Horrorland or whatever.
What,
Um,
they're required by law to dump a bucket of fake blood on you before you go into anywhere, any ride.
yeah.
Don't go
This
on
is
the
a good
guillotine
job.
ride.
see, that would be amazing because you could technically get injured and they would have no idea. They would
True.
just think it's all part of the gag. Um,
I'm curious, where did the necklace go?
in his pocket.
Away.
It was in his pocket.
I don't know. it's a,
It
it's
fell on the floor,
In the
and then he
yeah.
basement.
was
It it fell from the rafters, and then he was gonna go pick it up, and then he lost it.
it was on the tile. Then Paquita, there was a quick shot of Paquita grabbing it, giving it to him,
Hmm.
and then he finished the job on a particular zombie.
And then
Well,
he
no,
found it. And,
it was the massive intestine.
yeah,
Um,
and it had it. It was wrapped around it somehow.
yeah, and that's why Paquita just came out,
Yeah.
grabbed it, and then gave it to him.
He punches it in the quote unquote face.
Uh,
Okay.
Probably
Ryder,
intestines.
you're a scientist. What part of the human anatomy would be the face in that situation? What is that supposed to be? Is that
Face
that
just like
was
a
the
made up?
internal guts.
I'm
that
gonna be
was the
honest. Like,
bum hole, wasn't it?
I'm
Is it
gonna
the
be honest.
asshole?
I'm gonna be honest. I shut my brain off at that point. So
Okay, I think you did the right
Do you
thing.
think it was the
Honestly, I
anus?
think it
Yeah.
was because that's the only thing out of her mouth.
There's only two holes in the intestines. The in and the out.
Well, it's all mixed together. It could have been like the stomach esophagus part. I mean, could have been small intestine. It was all mixed together. It wasn't a well tracked.
It was lungs. Yeah,
I mean, the head was the intestine, though. It wasn't something else.
No, I'm just saying like in order of the body. It was all mushed. I don't think it was actual flowing order.
yeah. I think you're right.
I think it would have been cool if that thing started spitting up like stomach acid, like as a projectile kind of thing. That would have been.
Hmm.
But then again, it could have, I mean, that could have checked off the box of killing someone with acid.
So, uh,
I mean, it did. What was it? The nerdy guy with
I guess the
glasses.
only
They
thing they
just
don't have.
pulled his mask off his face.
Ripping
You
his
know
face
what? I'm
off.
just
That
now
was great.
realizing there's not a single gun in this movie.
No.
no,
Oh,
there's a
except
good
for the
very
beginning. Except for the very beginning. There's one
Yeah.
gun. There's one gun in the whole movie.
that was the
Yeah.
So they
budget.
don't. Yeah. So they don't have acid deaths and they don't have gun deaths. Uh, they got knives. They've got ripping apart anything with a physical tool. I think they've got most of those.
Did they have blunt deaths? Is there blunt deaths?
Head to head. Headbutt.
Yeah, headbutt. I guess. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
closest thing.
speaking of a headbutt, that Uncle Les headbutt charge
He
thing.
rammed him. He rammed him with his head. Weird.
Very weird.
Super weird.
Especially as a follow up attack to getting punched.
Yeah.
I know I
Yeah.
brought it up probably already, but it's really lucky that all those limbs that were cut off aren't moving.
No.
Some of them did. Some of
Some
them
do,
moved
some don't.
when she was. Yeah. It's
Yeah, we brought that up as an inconsistency.
Yeah.
The body parts.
Like, why didn't like
Some move, some don't.
Paquita and the friend when they ripped Void's legs apart? Like, why didn't the legs start kicking? That'd been cool.
because they still had muscle on them. You can only move them if they don't have any muscle on them.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
This is a horror film. The rules are vague and they do what they do. We have to
I do
criticize
like.
them for it, but we can't really do much more than that.
Yeah, points been made. I like the dentures, even though
Makes no sense.
it's possible that someone young can have dentures. It's not impossible, but it's slim odds that guy that
I don't know.
did bite
Lucky.
her.
It
Hard
had
fighting
saved
guy.
her.
Yeah,
Also, also the
it
baby
saved her.
makes a triumphant return by using Rita as a mech suit.
That's
Oh, shoot.
that's another reference later down the line.
Yeah, I didn't expect
Uh,
Titanfall to get a reference this early.
Oh,
I know.
I would
First
not
time.
say that was a Titanfall right. No.
Yeah.
That was
That's
Yeah,
quite.
baby
giving the idea of
pilot.
Titanfall. Wait, you can have a little person controlling a bigger person.
That was
Uh,
Men
quite
in
a
Black.
prosthetic, though.
That's another famous scene I think from this movie is that, or I guess infamous scene from this movie is the baby tearing apart the girl's head.
Now, was the baby behind her head and pushed his head through, or was the baby in her?
Don't look too deep into that.
Okay.
You might not like what you find.
Where
'Cause
his hands were, I'm going to say came through the head.
Okay, because
From the
when it was
back.
walking around, I'm like, where's the body?
Yeah.
Oh, the baby settled itself inside her cranium. Kicked up.
Yeah, that's.
It curled up, little ball.
Okay.
Baby brain. Did a baby brain. And now we get the big bad. the big bad showdown between Uncle Les and Vera.
Do you
Yeah,
guys prefer that it was Shadow or that it should have been shown?
No, I prefer it with
Shadow.
Shadow.
I like
Shadow
Shadow
was
It
cool.
saves the
'cause
reveal for later.
yeah.
I do like the liquor homes though. Those are cool.
That was pretty good. Um,
How
but
come
yeah, then,
how
yeah,
come the mom's the only one who got super that size and the other ones didn't?
because she's
Because
patient
she's
zero.
the Proto Grave Mine, dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
Legitimately have no fucking clue.
That's
Well,
the only answer.
where
She's
did
the
she get
first,
all
and
that
I don't
body
even think that's a
mass?
strong answer. The dirt.
the
The
Wally.
dirt. She got a
Let's
Yeah,
see.
give me a tougher question next time, please.
yeah she got a boob job.
Is this a zombie or is this just a BOW?
Oh, oh. Is Umbrella around anywhere?
Ooh,
Did we
big
see any
words.
umbrellas?
I don't know,
Is
but
there any in the shop?
could have seen Tricell.
Is there any rodents of unusual size here?
Well, there is a rat and a rat
There's
Yeah,
monkey, and that's an unusual
yeah,
thing.
the rat
the
monkey maybe.
RUSs. Um, yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I have no
This
idea
is
how she increased in mass.
this is
Mostly because like
all.
I have no idea. I know she's supposed to be quoted coming up from the basement, but the basement is logistically behind her. Like it's behind the staircase. She's literally just comes up from the ground. Like there's no basement from where she's crawling up.
Oh, from when she comes up from,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like
And she
geographically,
pops
it
out the
also makes no
second
fucking
time.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes. That'd be right. There's nothing below that area. Unless she went
Mhm.
through the wall.
She crawled through a pipe
Yeah,
and
she went
burst
through the
out the pipe.
foundation.
She literally just burst through the foundation. There
Yeah.
was nothing there.
I mean, that house is done for anyways. There's
Oh
no
yeah,
way you
no,
can
I
make a body.
agree. Let it burn to the ground.
Yeah. So, and when Lionel found out that his dad was a womanizer, or a ladies'
He
man
had
or
an
something,
affair.
Sleeping around.
sleeping around with a better-looking woman than his.
Learn that. Well, actually, a quick note on that. There's a comment in the party before Les makes it like
Yeah,
holding his dad, and he's defensive, like really quickly about it before it's like the party
you would
continues.
talk about my father that way.
Yeah, which it's a little
Yeah,
neat that
yeah,
he's very sensitive on the subject.
Well,
that fits.
Little compliment.
his father was probably killed the same time she was. So he was very young when his father passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he saw it.
Thanks to good
He
old
was.
mom. Well, we don't know that. We don't know if he
No,
saw
we
his
do.
dad. Well, we no,
We
we
do.
saw her kill the girl.
And he was in the bathroom.
The dad was?
No, him.
No, that's what I'm
Lionel.
saying. He saw the
Oh,
mom kill the
okay.
girl. He didn't see his mom kill his dad. Not to
Yes,
our knowledge.
it's heavily implied, but yes. It'd be weird if
Uh,
they were both in the bathtub and the mom and him were both there. It would be very odd.
Yeah.
the guy that originally opened the door to Void there in the beginning of this
Oh, the
Yeah,
drunk.
yeah, got his,
party,
yeah.
the drunk guy, he did not get killed when he did that. He got killed later, opening it again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he just got
he got his
knocked out. That's why.
Oh yeah.
rib cage
His
taken
rib
out.
yeah, pulled
Yeah,
right out of him.
I don't know why he didn't get killed the first time.
Because he had to get his rib cage
Void
torn out.
wasn't in the mood. Void was going after
Okay.
the nerd.
Nerd.
And then
Yeah,
Lionel
I don't think I have. I
got
don't
him
think I have any reasons for that.
piss
Yeah,
drunk.
other than like the stimulant potentially like putting their killing instincts into overdrive, but I don't think that's enough. Because we see that they're not horrendously violent, like because obviously with the way that Lionel's pacified them,
Yeah.
but we don't really have much to work with.
Yeah.
Also, all this noise and everything, everyone just guessing it's a party.
Yeah.
It's not till a fire erupts that firefighters are called.
Oh, yeah, I mean, no guns. There's no gunfire. There's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
It's just a very nice neighborhood that the police weren't called for a noise complaint.
I mean, yeah. Good point. Good point. They should have been.
Look, we kind of know I'm a stickler when it comes to like police involvement in things.
Well, yeah, because it would destroy most movies, right? Police got involved when they were supposed
Well,
to.
except they explain it in one of these examples, but we covered that recently.
Well, yes, I'm
Uh,
not talking about that example.
well, then this would be the third time you brought up cops. Then.
I know, it's something to bring up. Cops could still be present in New Zealand.
How do you know? Have
Yeah.
you been to New Zealand?
Not in 1957.
Do
Don't
they
think I
have
ever
police
will.
in 1957?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Should have borrowed our time machine decades and crashed landed in New Zealand in 1950s.
You know what,
We could
Crimson?
have done
Crimson?
this.
Crimson? Nothing's going up, nothing's going down. Score's staying the same. Okay? Just mellow it
What?
out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okie doke.
But now we have to have the actual big bad face off between
Yeah.
Yes. Was the
Lionel and
necklace actually that
what was
sharp?
the necklace, man?
No.
I figured it to be a
Okay.
blunt object. Or like,
The thing
because he
going
like
for it,
carves it out of her stomach.
the thing going for it is the stomach already had a line going through it. He didn't actually have to cut anything. He just had to get it in the crease.
The crease.
It's a crease.
I
The
guess that word,
stomach
yeah.
crease.
That
I
makes
never
sense.
thought I'd say someone take the idea of rebirth symbolism quite literally.
He's born a new man after that experience.
Yeah, that's yeah. You hit the nail on the head of the
I'll say,
philosophy there.
you know, it does remind me, not as horrific though, because of the comedy tones, but it does remind me of Men.
I thought you cut out because I thought you were going to say Men in Black with the cockroach.
No,
eating.
no,
No,
no. A movie we've covered already. Men.
Yeah.
We did cover that movie, didn't we?
Yeah, I think that's scarier than this.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd probably agree because that one
Well,
is
that one was a little bit. That was like actual. So that was what.
that was less comedic. This is more.
That was, yeah. That was,
That one was just symbolism
No,
incarnate, and we just had to interpret
I
everything.
lolled so hard when that happened. I was like rolling on the floor.
well, I think Sinister, you said you thought it was very funny when Jeffrey was the character when he was like flooring it in the car to like run her
Yeah.
over in Men. You thought that
Yeah,
was
and
funny.
yelling.
I also thought the fucking naked guy was hilarious because so
Yeah, walking
weird.
around in the yard.
Yeah.
Go
I
listen
mean,
to
if
go
I
listen to Men. We cover that.
Yeah.
That was something.
Yeah, podcast 2 or 3, whatever that is.
I think it was 3. But yeah, so we got but yeah, the ring. I mean, the necklace. Was it magic? We'll never know.
I don't know.
It does move on its own.
There's
Or
something there.
was
The
that just
rules
him
are
interpreting it
undefined.
moving?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Ryder.
He is
There's
crazy,
something
so
there.
there is an argument.
I
There.
think for Lionel knocking over the pens or whatever to make the exact symbol to Akita, something is present. Something's there.
God damn it, Sprinks.
But I think that's the most visually shown magical form out
Okay,
there.
no. This is my frustrations. We're gonna go back to Princess Bride for a second. You think there's something here, but you don't think there's something there with the
No!
with
Inigo's
his
dead
coming
dad
down?
spirit. We already covered this. Inigo's dad was not around. There is no spirit.
Oh,
Okay.
you've done yourself. You've done it again. Oh God.
Oh man. All right. Sorry,
There's
buddy.
so many visuals for it. Away from Princess Bride.
Yeah,
Back
in
to the show.
Braindead, I don't know what the thing is. I don't think it's the mom, grandma, whatever it is, of Paquita that has some
Destiny.
power, or it could just be Destiny.
Destiny's Child.
I don't think
The
it's
baby.
Destiny's child.
Yeah.
Is the nurse
Well, at
named
least-
Destiny in this movie?
No, but Beyonce was in there, and I think there's probably a Beyonce in here.
Okay, but you can't use Fate or Destiny as an example though, because then I could just use that as that for Princess Bride.
You could. As I'm saying,
That's
it's
one
some
of
kind of spiritual, magical thing that is being shown weekly, I will say. It doesn't seem to have this huge strength of the power of the necklace, or to set the motion of the answer of the cards, or something like that. But it's still a little here and there.
There we go.
So when Lionel charges up the mower in the beginning, we have in the beginning of the lawnmower part,
Mhm.
um, Kita and I think the girl's still alive at this point. They're in the middle of the area, just
Yeah.
surrounded by zombies, and then Lionel comes in with the mower, and they all just walk by her to get to him instead of just killing her.
Yep. There's some teleporting in that scene to where characters are to get away from them away from zombies.
Yeah.
Sorry, we keep distracting from the boss fight here at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's really well, it's a really big one. It's like what he goes inside of her and then he comes out. Like
Yeah,
the crux of the fight.
yeah. I mean, at least Lionel's character arc is decent. You
Yeah,
know,
He stands up to his
he's
mom.
not he's not afraid of his mom anymore. We all could relate to that.
Also, is the necklace being inside the mom what's causing her face
Boy,
to rot and melt away? Because it wasn't
She's been
falling up.
rotten this movie.
Okay, but it wasn't falling apart until she
Her ear fell
sw-
off in
okay.
the beginning.
What I'm getting at is it wasn't falling
Her,
off or
her
anything, and
cheek
she was
came off.
intact until she ate Lionel.
that back and forth was
So I didn't know if it
amazing.
was if
I love it.
that's what caused it to start decaying.
no,
Uh,
she was just
yeah,
decaying.
Okay.
yeah, I think it was just her face was finally so big that it couldn't hold the weight anymore. I'm gonna hazard a guess on that.
Okay. Also,
Um,
pretty creepy for something that shape of a face.
I liked the skull.
The animal skull was pretty good.
But normally something along that line, like where
I'm
her
happy
eyes
it's gonna be
were, is
burned
where the
alive in
nostrils
fire.
were. But
Mhm.
her eyes were down there.
Her eyes were down there. Her eyes are up here.
How do you guys feel about the boss fight itself, though? You think it was
Eh,
fulfilling or a
Lackluster.
little lacking?
yeah,
Yeah,
Little lacking.
lacking.
I
I
mean,
I felt the same.
the lackluster is just he carves his way out. She trips and falls back through a weakened part of the roof, and the fire does the rest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
presumably.
I think for as big as that the lawnmower scene was, I think they kind of blew their load and they didn't really know how to top that, so they kind of had to have it be somewhat at
It
least.
was it was a more emotionally
Yes.
uh it was a more emotional payoff boss fight than it was an actual fight.
Hmm.
Which I mean,
That's
if one has to be sacrificed, I will take the character over the big boss fight any day.
hmm
And it, in a way, also shows he didn't kill his mom.
yeah.
Yeah, not directly.
Not
That's,
directly.
and we finally got um the uh the killing of all the dead bodies. They finally all have been put into little pots.
Yes. Good job, Pakita. That she's the one that started the fire.
Yeah, she's wow. Yeah, yeah, really, yeah. Yeah. And so that has been Braindead.
Oh, was there anything else?
No,
That's it for
I mean,
me.
yeah,
Nice
I
zip
don't,
line.
Yeah.
Nice little Home Alone moment there.
Home Alone,
Yeah.
Last Action
No, I
Hero.
mean, I think the application is supposed to be a telephone line, because they all have
It could
landlines
be,
back in the
and
day.
he
yeah.
utilized it as a zip line,
Yeah,
whatever it
he
was.
utilizes the discipline. Oh, one of my notes is funny. So this is going to be for a very niche part of the audience, but clearly Lionel has been trained by Wise to use his belt effectively.
Hey, all about that.
Hey, some
It's all
people got
about
that
that.
reference. It works.
Some
Yeah.
people got it. Some people be the OGs.
Is anyone else who's hmm, who's in the camp that it was odd for Lionel to throw the necklace?
I'm on board all the way.
Yeah,
Yep, that
weird.
was weird. Just didn't understand
Why?
it.
No
Does he
freaking
think
clue.
it didn't help him to get
Well, he
rid of?
thinks
I
he
mean,
doesn't
it
need it
helped.
anymore. He
He
conquered
He
his
doesn't
doesn't
fear.
need
need.
it.
Yeah, like which it's odd because because the grandma was pretty, you know, sure of the fact that there was going to be a lots of unless he was just only like a few weeks into the future and everything else is going to be fine. I don't know. I would keep the necklace.
Yeah, I think any normal person would after this.
Yeah, I'd be like,
So
okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna hedge my bets a little bit on superstition and say that I am gonna keep the necklace.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
happily ever after forever.
well, Maybe.
There's gonna be a lot of questions of why are there so many dead bodies in here, and
Well, presumably the firefighters failed to put out the fire. That's what I hope it anyway.
And there'd still be bones and teeth around there.
It could be.
uh,
It could be like Incredibles 2. Like if they did a part 2 and it starts right back up with the firefighters taking out the fire, and then the mom
and they all
reaches
look
out and
like
that's how it starts.
yeah, and they all look like 30 years older because it's been 30 years since
Yeah,
it came out. You're right. That would be awesome.
that would stick with the campiness.
Just
That
stick
would
with
be
the
pretty good.
actors though. That'd be funny.
I would hope that guy has gotten better
Well,
since
we would
then.
I
see
would
if
hope so
we ever
too.
get a second one. Yeah.
Yeah. I know he does. I think he does like he writes for or TV shows now. So who knows? Um, but yeah, he's still alive. Peter's still alive. The mom is dead though, so that would be. I mean, the actress who played the mom.
AI. Boom. Problem
Yeah.
solved.
So,
I
but
get.
Yeah, I'm good with the act.
you're good with the act.
Well, that's the last
Yep.
You're
act.
giving this act the axe.
Yep.
I am done as well.
All right. That has been the synopsis of Braindead.
Yeah.
I
And
had
that's
one last question
mhm,
before we go to reviews and
one
everything.
more question.
What is everyone's last note on your in your notebook or whatever you wrote down for the movie?
Uh, let's see.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll give two answers. One, at the end, I just wrote down every reference I could remember of Evil Dead. But any direct note, the last thing I wrote was "Stars and Moon" song because the song at the end is made for this. It was
That's a good
referring to
song.
their relationship and everything.
Yeah,
I actually liked it. That credit song was pretty good.
that's good. Probably one of my favorite songs they
My
used in this.
last two notes are reacting to Lionel throwing the necklace away. It's like, God damn it, Lionel, that shit is important. And then reacting to the song, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, it's a good song.
So, sir, you have any last note?
Uh, oh my God, Crimson's gonna tear this movie apart. Oh my God.
Oh,
No, I didn't
See, I
actually.
wasn't too bad.
No, you were pretty. Yeah. Well, I think kind of understood what the movie was going, so there really wasn't too much that you could like understand like
True.
critique. Yeah.
Springs, what was your last note?
what a movie. Dot dot dot.
All right.
That's why you were. This will be interesting. We didn't. I don't think
Wonderful.
we discussed anything uh concrete of what we thought are individuals, but Springs did ask, was curious to see what the lowest rating for this will be.
Oh yeah, before we even started the
Yeah,
recording for
yeah.
this session, I'm curious what will be the lowest number given either objectively or subjectively from anyone.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure the lowest one's going to be an objective, but
It
I
could
could
be.
be wrong.
We
I could
don't
be
know.
wrong. I don't know yet. Pick things up a little bit. I'm gonna start with you, Springs.
Oh, for my review and rating?
Your review and your rating.
Well, let's see. What do I want to start with? Let's start with my subjective score. So, I think this is a great movie to put on during October to watch. Uh, I I think this is a movie where if like people are like, "Hey, we're little Halloween get together. What are we gonna watch?" I'd suggest Brain Dead over Red Christmas. I'd suggest Brain Dead over maybe over Christine. Um, it's a campy movie. I think maybe over Evil Dead 1. Um, it's good. It's just an
This
okay.
feels,
Oh,
yeah. It kind of sorry. Let me to add a little bit more onto that. Like it feels like a movie that uh, I would love to watch like with you guys in person, and we'd all have drinks or something together
Mm-hmm.
and kind of laugh at it. And
That's
that's
a good
kind of the
movie.
movie coming across to me as.
yeah.
Sorry, go on,
It just
Springs.
seemed kind of fun. Not necessarily something I'd go out of my way to put on by myself, or something that's not around like a theme, like a Halloween, October feeling. But I thought it was a fine, fun movie. It's okay. I give it a 6 subjectively. Now objectively, Let's see here. I like the use of lighting they do. They have very good parts of lighting. I like the cinematography they have. There is so many creative shots to use that there's some that are one-time usage and some that are appear more, so it's not one-time usage, and it's a good just diversity of shots throughout the film. I like that. I like the acting. I know Crimson thinks the acting is probably the worst thing about this. I think the acting is fitting for the tone of the movie they're going with. uh, Lionel being a very timid and shy, kind of off-put character, outcast, and then Paquita kind of being the love interest and a little shocked of the spirit spiritual telling her. We still don't know if that's her mom or grandma, who tells her like this is the destiny and path. Uh, Vera being a very evil stepmother kind of character, her way or no way, somewhat protecting her son or overprotective of her son. Uncle Les being a real just greedy creep. Uh, just all, I mean, even the Crimson's favorite, the zookeeper. I mean, he was pretty on par with his lines, knew what he was saying. Seemed like kind of little defensive, I guess, over the rat monkey and what they do at the zoo and whatnot. So I think the acting was all fitting to the film. Something we never touched on was the music. The music score in this film is basically just a violin and piano. Those are the only two instruments used. When it comes to Paquita, or what I classify as Paquita's theme, is very slow, romantic sounding piece of music of piano and violin. Then also when you get to the creepy factor of Lionel going around trying to cover up that he's hiding zombies, it gets a little more of the piano kind of like back and forth note of like pacing somewhat to give a little mischievous feel. And then when it gets to the action part, piano ramps up and the violin has like these sharp streaks of just like cut, like slashing, as Sinister said, just slashing parts. So I think I really like the use of only two instruments for the use of theme throughout the whole film that are used in different aspects to play the genre of the scene being played. Really like that. What have I not touched on? Costume design. The one that was really apparent that stood out to me was Uncle Les wearing a white jacket while everyone else is in black, and I saw it as him just standing out as a new character to be introduced. But I do appreciate and like the take that Crimson said. I believe Crimson said it, that he's wearing white because he doesn't respect the death of his sister and is just there for the inheritance. What have I not touched on? The writing. Well, the writing could have been better. Plot could have been a lot stronger. The world building was not great. I mean, it was visually shown. It wasn't really dialogued said or anything. Uh, so writing not very good. That's all I think I have to mind. There's definitely flaws and errors we saw. There were things we enjoyed and picked up on. So yeah, I did sit on it. I will say I sat on it. My original score I wrote down was right after I watched the movie. I wrote it down. Before we started the podcast, I had digested my scoring and lowered it by a 0.5. So I'll say that. But I over the whole course of the podcast, I have not changed my scores of either one. So my objective score is a 7.
I'm a little confused about what you just. It was originally a 7.5 before the
As
podcast, and then
soon
you
as I
changed it
finished watching the movie,
when we started.
7.5.
Okay.
Today, before we started recording this episode
Then
of
you
the
switched it.
podcast,
Yeah,
I lowered it by 0.5.
hasn't changed the podcast.
Yeah, during the whole discussion of the podcast, I have not moved it.
Jump over to writer next.
All right. Um, I'll do my subjective first, as I always do. Um, I'm I don't really go in for horror slasher splatter films like this very often. Um, it's not my usual thing. So, but other than that, I think I have ways to. I have means that I think would increase my enjoyment of it. And I am willing to rewatch this again. In specific environments. But that being said, I don't think I'll ever voluntarily watch this again by myself. Um, so I think my subjective is probably going to be a 5. Um, yeah, I'll settle on that. All right, objectively, um, I'll give my initial rating after finishing it, and then I'll talk about everything, and then I'll give my new rating for it. So the original rating that I gave this when I finished the film was 1.5 objectively. Um, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but that's also was very emotionally driven, among other things. I've since had time to think about the film, and so I'd settled on a different number by the time we started today. And it hasn't really changed much. But I can sum it up as this: plot's pretty threadbare, doesn't make much sense. The world building is inconsistent at its best. So both of those aren't really worthwhile to this film at all. In terms of character, I actually think character is fairly strong in this film, even if like Uncle Fess is particularly cartoonish. I don't think he is does anything that could be construed as out of character. I think he's fairly consistent from introduction to his end, and that goes for pretty much all the other characters. And what plot problems there are, some of them you can explain the way that they're just facilitated by character. Like Lionel's trying to hide all the zombies, and that is something that pushes the plot along. But it's also within his character to want to do that. I've been kind of alluding the entire time that Lionel's not insane in the head, which is helps this film a lot in terms of how his mother raised him and how trauma clearly affected him growing up and stuff like that, and all the manipulations that the mother gets off on him before she starts to degrade. Um, I'm kind of with Crimson. I think Bakita is probably my favorite character. Um, and I also probably agree with Crimson. I think the romance is probably my least favorite aspect of this film, but I understand why they're just kind of rushing through that and trying to establish this thing so we can have the gore fest, more or less. Um, so with all the characters being decent, I think objectively this sits at about a 4 for the moment. Um, which is subject to change still because I'm still sitting on it. But objectively, I think I'm settled on a 4.
Second to last, Crimson.
All right. I'll go subjective as well first. Um, I'm a little bit different than Sprinks. Sprinks thinks he'd probably prefer this over Evil Dead 1. I don't think I would, personally. I think this film was decent. It's not something I'd watch on my own, though. If my dad's like, hey, I got this movie, and I know you covered it on the podcast. You want to watch it? I'm like, sure. I'll do that. I'm not going to avoid it. This isn't Men. But I don't remember what I gave Men. I think I gave it a 4. Regardless, this I'm giving a 5.5. Something I'm willing to watch again, but I probably won't on my own. And I agree. I think it would be a good group of movie. Objective. It's a difficult one because a lot of stuff in this is intentionally air quotes bad, cheesy, campy. So it's kind of hard to measure that with intent and what is not intent. I think the biggest problem objectively is the rules for the zombies. They are very inconsistent with them. Some for sake of jokes, some not. Sinister did a good job countering me on the rate of which they convert. Made a good point there. That if you die and you're infected, you turn quick. If you're alive and are infected, it's longer. I think that fits with what we see. The relationship between Vera and Lionel, I think, was well enough. Was well crafted. Lionel's acting, I agree, is intended to fit this vibe. I don't think he did it well, though, which is where my disagreement is. I did it in the beginning, I'll do it again. I think Bruce Campbell got that better. I think he got the vibe better. Not necessarily that he was a great actor in the Evil Dead franchise either, but I think it was portrayed better through the way he acted. So, in isolation of this, I think his acting was bad, even for what they're going for. The romance angle, I think, was not good. I think the two characters involved make sense with it. Like, what was her name again? Paquilla?
Paquita.
Kita.
Paquita. Paquita. Um, sure, she goes deep into the tarot card reading, so I guess she dove deep into the relationship. That's fine. Lionel doesn't seem like he's really been with a girl before, so obviously he'd want to be with her as much as he can. So there's a lot of back and forth with that relationship. The baby's day out segment, completely unnecessary. Could have been cut. This could have been a hour and a half movie, I think, with that being removed and little snippets here and there. But I do like Spriggs' pitch of just showing him fortifying. I think that would have been good as well. Because I didn't really notice the place was fortified, but once you guys pointed out, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they were barred and everything. Limbs were inconsistent, whether or not they're alive or not. I don't get the rules of the intestines because this is like, it's not demons. This is a biological thing. It's some virus, disease, who knows. They become a species because they can reproduce, as disgusting as that is. But I think I'll leave it at that with being a 5. It's tough. I'll decide later for the recap. It might go up 5.5. I'll keep it at 5 right now.
And last but not least,
Yes. I saved all my stuff for the end. Yeah, this was like I said in the beginning, this was a movie that I was somewhat familiar with going in, and then uh I probably more than anything I like the vibe of it because it is very much indebted to both honorably and I think shamelessly it's an Evil Dead ripoff. For the most part. I think they do a lot of stuff differently, but some of it better, some of it worse. Probably most of it, but not so good. But uh, it's I think the main points of it that I really enjoy is the practical special effects. It's probably some of the best, uh, specifically on gore that I think has ever been done on film. Possible. It's it's up there. There's probably some other ones that people could name off, and I would not know. You know, for my money, this is probably like the pinnacle of what you can do practically and with gore effects. Um, Stop motion is pretty well done too. Peter Jackson was ahead of that, I think, with Richard Taylor was the other person involved with that. There's only a couple scenes of it, but I think what it is, pretty solid, especially for as late in the game as stop motion was at that point. Um, there's definitely plot inconsistencies as far as stated. Uh, I think it's very easy if you're a fan of campy horror, you kind of get used to that, and it kind of doesn't bother you so much. But kind of over time, it seeps in more and more. You think about it, and or it becomes less of a funny thing, and then it becomes kind of an actual error problem. I think for all intents and purposes, I think a lot of it feeds into it, but I think there's also problems that just make it sort of confusing and hard to believe that it, actually an actual event that could have happened, which obviously zombies is very very out there. So I don't take it with a grain of salt, but acting is not great, but I mean it's adequate for the B movie esque thing, but even still, there's just like could definitely make a drinking game out of the poorly done bits. Um, I think the character of Lionel, he was right physically for it, but I kind of wish he'd had a little bit better chops going in. It sort of doesn't work nearly as well as I think Bruce Campbell's kind of, as Crimson already said, Bruce Campbell's version of it and Dead is probably still the pinnacle of kind of the cowardly put upon hero. I think is much more believable in this one, even though that's exactly what. Paquita's really well done. I think it would have been really easy to have her kind of go see girl territory, and I think they avoided that pretty well by making her actually be competent and have actual character. Um, Vera was really well done, perfectly believable as evil and stepmother, even though she was real mother. Us was good as well. No, I think overall, uh, I think there's more right in this than there's wrong, but I think the wrong stuff is just so glaring that it's hard to get past it. And then at the end of the day, you got to decide whether you're gonna have it ruin it for you or accept it as just what it is. And I'll commit halfway, and I'll say I think there's enough decently glaring problems here to lower it a bit from my original uh, rating. So I'm going to go with overall a 6. Could go up. I'd have to sit with this a little bit longer. Maybe in the recap, it could go up to a 7. But as of right now, I feel comfortable with 6.
You said you lowered it. What was it originally?
It was 7, but
Okay.
if I only really watched it, and this is a different version. It could change. It might go up. It might go down, or it might stay that 6, or it might go up to 7 by the recap.
Or could go to a 5.
Uh,
We don't know.
I don't know. I think I like this more than a bunch of stuff I already have rated as 5, so that would be interesting. But that I'm at a 6 right now.
All right. Well, that was brain dead.
That in form and in content, some might say.
What a way to kick off season 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I read us out, gentlemen?
Yes, please, Mr. Writer.
All right. Thank you for listening, whether it be Spotify, Anchor, Amazon, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, and Samsung. And if you're on the YouTube side of things, feel free to give us a like and subscribe, and tell us and leave us a comment. Tell us how much you hate our opinions or how much you love them. And as always, I have been a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson around.
I'm a character called Sinister Boy.
And I'm Sprinks.
And we will catch you next time. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Toodaloo!